Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran and I'm here with River Brown, Angel Velez, and Mr. Joel Dells. And this is episode 598. Funny story. This is our second time doing this intro because the first time I forgot to hit record. So now we're here. Now Drew has lost 5 minutes and already busy day for Drew. Today has been a busy day because we just finished a great conversation with Anthony Simons.
Say the same things we just said about Anthony Simons and Quincy. And
yes.
Yo, bro, I look to my right and I see him like creeping to hit the record button.
What are we gonna do? And like at some point you would have had something.
So looking at him like,
No, it's because there's this excellent application. It's called Adobe. It's a sound software for Adobe. And you can actually revive audio to where like the audio, even if it's coming from the cameras, it will sound professionally somewhat. So I was like, maybe I'll do that, but it just wouldn't sound
when did
the
you
same.
realize it?
As when you were talking about Quincy.
Okay, nice.
I was like, oh, okay. And then I just hit record and then Riv saw it. He started laughing. So then we had to do the intro back because he started laughing. It's like, now the cat's out the bag.
Cat's out the bag.
The cat's out the bag. But
he tried to like creep and do it. Like,
He's trying to be low.
He tried to be mad low. And I'm just looking at him like, bro, what are you doing?
But this is going to be an episode that you guys have been asking for. You guys have been asking for an AFC East, well, not particularly. You guys haven't been asking for an AFC East preview, but you've been asking for more football talk.
Yes,
and
me
this
too,
episode
man.
will be all about football. Now, this is what we have planned for you guys. So we're going to preview the Patriots season, the Bills, and the Dolphins. And since, unfortunately, the Jets finished in last place this past year, the Jets will be the last team we preview, which is the Quincy Enunwa interview that we have slated. So after we finish talking about these teams, we're going to slide in the Quincy Enunwa interview, which is also previewing the Jets for this upcoming year. And that conversation was 40 minutes long. We appreciate Quincy for giving us his time. We recorded that on Wednesday because the gang wasn't able to come here in full and record. So we recorded that on Wednesday. Today is AFC East preview. But before recording this episode that you guys are seeing right now, we actually just had an hour-long conversation with Anthony Simons in which we touched on a lot of different things.
He was maybe the best guest we've ever had. He was so real, just chopped it up so willingly for an hour and a half. There was nothing that he didn't want to say. It's like he just felt free to talk to us like we were just one of his guys. I think that's why it was so great. It's why I felt so great when Slay came onto the pod and the second time. First time was great. Second time was even better because he was more aware of who we were. But the fact that Anthony was really locked in, like has been tapped in with Pick a Side, let us know. Like he was just such a great guest to have on the show. And honestly might be my favorite guest.
It was great. We got to get Slay back on too. Maybe after week 1 or something. I think he'd be good. But Simons was great, man. We touched on basketball, video games, a lot of music talk. We had a lot of music talk with Simons. It was great, man. You know, because you never know with these players. And I'm saying the same thing I just said in the last recording. But because we've done a good amount of them, right?
It was in my head while I was speaking to him. Like, what am I going to say?
You just never know, like, you know, obviously, you know, we've DM'd back and forth. Anthony just set everything up. But you never know, like, how open players are going to be. There's some players where I'm sure, like, the team's like, yo, don't say all this. And for the Sixers, they just on LeBron. They cheer for Jaylen Brown. There's all this news around him. But he was really open and cool about everything. We got some good stories about the Celtics and Joe Mazzulla. And some of the analytics stuff. So that's going to come out next week. But I'm excited for this one because I love the talk we had with Quincy Enunwa. Being able to talk Jets football with me, John, Joel, and of course Quincy. Some high expectations, higher than I was anticipating about this Jets team. Cam seems like it's been going decent. David Bailey had himself a nice day at training camp. Gino and Garrett, seem to be on the same page. So excited to get that out there too.
I'm weirdly excited for Jets football too.
Me too.
I am. But I'm also excited to watch your guys' interview because I wasn't able to make it. I was pretty
Quincy
bummed
was
about
dope.
it.
Yeah.
What made you guys record on Wednesday? That was the only day he had?
Well,
Yeah.
I think so.
For Quincy, it was...
Well, I think we asked him like, yo, what day works? And then he was just like Wednesday. And I was like, all right. I'll be honest, I should have confirmed with y'all.
It's okay. But you did confirm for the Anthony one,
Yeah,
which was
yeah,
real.
yeah.
Well, it was that, but it was Anthony said he could do an interview Thursday, and then he said, I can do Friday instead.
Yeah.
So we didn't think that Thursday would be available, and we thought that Friday would be an episode that we record separately. So that's why Wednesday was the day. But
It is a bummer.
you know, it was.
I wish I could have seen Quincy.
It was a great conversation nonetheless.
I know
You know,
you guys
shout out
knocked it
to
down, though.
Quincy Enunwa and the Anthony Simons, like you mentioned, the interview with him. It was awesome. Like we were just talking to him about normal stuff. There was definitely basketball talk mixed in there, of course, but we were able to dive into other topics outside of basketball, and it was good enough to be its own standalone episode. It is releasing Monday publicly on Spotify and on YouTube. But if you want to see the interview earlier, yes, sir, Apple as well. If you want to see the interview earlier, you can subscribe to our Patreon, YouTube memberships. It should be out by tomorrow, meaning we're recording this Friday night. It should be out by Saturday night. It'll be done, and we can upload that on Patreon for you guys to get early access. And I'm very excited for you guys to watch the interview. There's a lot of different things that we talked about, and
we were all over the place.
He knew about Pick a Side. Like, he's been a fan of Pick a Side for a while. We only recently found out because we did a video about G Herbo and he commented on it. But we have been huge fans of Anthony, and apparently he's been huge fans of us. He knows about Riv's KD is not legendary rant. He knows all about the lore behind that. He knows that we debate a lot. So it was just an honor to have him on the podcast. And we couldn't have done that without you guys. We really appreciate your guys' support throughout all these years. And we have a really big year in store for you in terms of the amount of guests that we have. Mm-hmm. We have a guest for episode 600 lined up, which is going to be an amazing episode.
You're going to love the
straight
guest for
basketball.
Too.
It is a Pick a Side OG.
Yes, sir. Pick a Side OG.
We're very excited for episode 600. But AFC East today, football is back. Training camp is underway. We have reports about Patrick Mahomes looking like Mahomes again.
AFC East.
An underrated wide receiver in Cyrus Allen breaking out. Dells has moved, picking him up in fantasy. We've seen Bo Nix throw a touchdown to Jalen Waddle.
That shit had me emotional.
We've seen Jalen Hurts work from under center and throw darts
I'm in.
through the middle of the field. We've seen.
We're so back. You and me are so back.
Is he accepted? Are you accepting?
We know how he feels about Hurts.
Oh, I mean,
the Eagles, you're saying?
No, I'm back with Jalen, aka I'm back with the Eagles.
Okay.
Monitoring that situation.
Okay, he just was asked last year. I was open and real about it.
You were louder on it.
But I always respected Philly. I've never slandered Philly.
You know, when somebody's asked and you like them, you're usually quiet. Mm-hmm. You were loud last year.
For Bo Nix.
So I'm monitoring the situation.
For Bo Nix. Can I get a pass for that?
Can I monitor the situation?
Like in the Cade versus Ja Morant, like you love Ja, but like Cade, you're one.
There's actually no way to salvage what you're saying. In order to be in on the Eagles, you have to admit right now Jalen Hurts clears Bo Nix.
I would never do that.
I didn't say that.
Clears.
Because he has to say Jalen Hurts is better than Bo Nix.
No, I'm not gonna ask that.
Nah, do it. Do it.
Doesn't matter.
I'm gonna monitor the situation.
I would be out on Jalen Hurts if you put me in that situation, truthfully. But that being said, I've always loved Philly. Never said a bad thing about him. I love Jalen Hurts.
He's a Sixers fan too.
I'm a Sixers fan.
That's why I'm monitoring the situation.
All right, I'm fine with that.
I didn't say like you completely.
That's kind of how I feel about you in Denver and the way that you've been.
I've actually been nicer on Denver than you've been on Philly last year.
It was horrendous. Like
that one game. That one game was terrible,
bro. What
was
terrible about it, worse, was that you did it behind my back.
You weren't here that day.
Yeah,
terrible.
You weren't here.
Drew,
that was terrible.
Drew, you saw that game.
He can't help it if you're not here.
But the thing is, you were always a Bo supporter, so it caught him off guard.
That's all it was.
That game was so bad.
But you just caught me literally my pants down.
That game wasn't bad.
It was one of the worst games I've ever seen in my life.
But again,
and then you tried to cope, talk about the weather.
Context,
you were wild.
The winds.
Yeah,
it was 40 mile an hour.
There it is.
A fucking division game.
Wasn't it like October?
It was the division game short week. Doesn't matter. It's Denver.
I don't know, like October. Crazy in October.
It's Denver. Tell me you haven't been to Denver.
I haven't. Have you?
Yes, I have. For a chess tournament.
Oh shit! Oh shit! Okay.
How long ago was that?
I was in 4th grade.
So you ain't never really been to Denver.
I've been.
Yeah, I was.
But if you in 4th grade, you're not experiencing it.
What do you mean?
You could experience what was in October?
It was fucking great.
Was it October?
No.
Okay.
No. It was
like
like
February.
March.
Oh yeah, I figured.
That's honestly the worst cold.
That's what I mean.
March colds.
It was
ass,
fucking.
I feel
great.
like February is worse.
Yeah, but March just feels like you're like almost out of it, but you're not yet.
So true.
You know?
February is like the peak coldness.
That's kind of how I feel about April.
April?
Because April really.
April could throw in some like
the
50s,
last
60s,
couple years, April's been shit.
Yes,
it's been shit.
Yes.
Like, it's been
Well,
raining.
this summer in the East
cold.
Coast has kind of been shitty because you've either had a lot of rain or you got in heat waves.
It's been raining OD lately.
It's really been
bro.
knowing.
It was just raining earlier.
This whole last week it's rained, and all next week's supposed to rain.
So you're saying I'm not with Denver?
No, you are.
You don't need to be.
No, I fuck with Denver.
Why?
I'll never slander
They're
you
cool.
in regards.
And plus, they're better than the Chiefs. I'm there. Super there.
What you mean by better?
What do you mean?
This past season?
Well,
They were
this
better?
year they'll be better too.
I don't know about that. If Patrick Mahomes was fully healthy, he could do
He
anything.
was
He was
fully
fully
healthy
healthy
last
this
year.
past year.
Come on.
He didn't have the same weapons. He didn't have Kenneth Walker.
He doesn't have Cyrus
He
Allen.
didn't have Cyrus Allen.
They
Like,
have
those
Jalen
are
Waddle.
game changers.
They have
You
Jalen
don't
Waddle.
have to give Mahomes much to make magic happen. He's Patrick
You
Mahomes.
didn't give him much last year and missed playoffs.
Magic was dead ass.
And you
shit.
didn't give him much in 2024. And Magic
Oh,
was
shit.
there.
They
Right.
win in 2024.
They made it to the
shit.
bowl.
It was 34-0.
They made it to the bowl.
You really didn't make it.
They
It
made
was
it to the bowl.
34-0.
But they
You
made
really
it to the
weren't
bowl.
there.
What do you mean they didn't
To
really
be
make
honest,
it?
you really weren't
They
there.
did make it.
They made it. They didn't show up.
Yeah, at all.
They
It was
made it, they didn't
34-0. Like, that's like a sweep. Like,
Did
you didn't
Josh
really-
Allen ever make it?
Damn.
Oh, shit.
Got me there.
Mahomes' worst year is Allen's best year.
My
Fuck.
Eagles win championships.
At least
What's
you
your
got the
favorite team
Eagles.
do? Since you win, what's your favorite team do?
It's the Jets.
Dog shit. You've seen nothing. Ever.
Yeah, I have.
You've been on this earth for 27
2009,
years.
2010.
What was that?
AFC Championships.
That's about the time that I went to
Denver.
Denver. Have you really seen shit?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I have. Because I remember it vividly. Every single detail, where I was.
That wasn't about the time I went to Denver, by the way. That was way later.
No, because you would have definitely been like,
That's
That's 7th, 8th
2010.
grade.
Yeah.
It's 7th, 8th grade.
No.
It's 7th, 8th grade. No, I'm just
yeah, no,
trolling.
I was there. You know, I remember
probably have to
everything. I remember
remember
the interception Darrell Reeves got that bounced off his foot.
And the
And
Chargers
that was
game.
a turn of the game.
Picked off.
We went for it on fourth down,
Fuck.
right, to close that game out.
Man,
You know,
Good times, man.
you guys are funny.
You know, you didn't catch on that I was quoting the Jets lore.
The Revis pick.
No, Joel throwing the interception with Jets lore.
Oh,
Jets
yeah.
accurate lore interception.
I saw
Yes,
somebody in
yes.
the comments comment about that. They were laughing at that video. It's
that was a
funny.
shit is
funny ass video.
hilarious.
Yeah, dude, I
I
got the
watched it
helmet.
so many times.
That's the helmet's honestly one of the best purchases you've ever made.
I
Wait,
know.
How much was it?
given
Yeah, that shit's
given
funny.
all the
233?
fucking 2K builds you've made, that makes up for half of them.
That one was funny. I saw the video. That was funny. I was
No,
laughing.
yeah, dude.
making
There,
me wanna
people
post
have
that
said they're gonna use that video for quarterback slander this year.
It's like the video of Bangle. You seen the video of him fucking throwing it like this?
Yeah.
That shit's funny.
Nah, dude, I love that helmet so much. I'm excited. I mentioned it last
That was a nice
podcast,
helmet.
but yeah, I got season tickets for the Jets this year. I'm gonna
Sir.
be on the field for the Green Bay Packers game before. I'm like I said, like I love the Jets. Don't get me wrong. I really want to meet Jordan Love. Like I really want to just meet him, and I want to recreate my Sora video, but in real life.
An all-time sort of video.
I won't tell him like good luck out there. You know, I'll probably just say like, yo, you know, keep yourself
How are you gonna
safe.
get his attention?
I'm gonna just be like, yo,
There's no way.
he's gonna walk onto the field with it with his Sony headphones. Sony sponsors him, and I'll be like,
You're gonna be in all Jets gear. He's gonna look the other way.
bro,
You
that's
gotta
the
you gotta
thing.
hit him with something that surprise him or like fake you know him.
Bro, the
I'm gonna
thing
be honest,
is,
you cannot go to that game in Jets gear. It's the one game you can't go.
Nah,
No,
he's
no,
not.
no.
He's not on the sideline.
I think
in
I need
Packers
to.
gear.
I can't go in Packers gear, but I could go neutral.
That's what I'm saying.
I could go
Yeah.
like just in a nice fit, like you know, like I'm in a nice
That's
fit.
exactly
I don't
what I'm
have
saying.
anything.
100%.
Jordan Love, maybe I'll be on the opposing sideline and he'll be there, and I'll be like, yo, what's good? Maybe I'll see somebody that's a Green Bay Packer, and I'll be like, yo, bro, like,
Go get Jordan Love for me.
yo, is there any way?
You're gonna
You
see
could
fucking
tell
Zach
Jordan
Tom.
Love to
Be
pull
like,
up
yo,
on
bro,
me.
go get Jordan Love.
Or maybe Jordan Love has
Fuck you.
seen videos before of me
Maybe
praising him.
that's
and he
honestly,
won't
bro.
recognize
That's your
me.
best bet.
Yeah.
Your best bet is he recognized you and be like, I've seen that dude on the internet.
And then he would want to just shake my hand.
Because
I
fucking
don't need a
waving at
picture with
him
him.
is crazy.
I just really need to.
Just
big
play
bro.
Packers.
Yeah. I'm not going to take a picture with him. If it's a picture, it's going to be like a selfie picture.
It has to be quick.
Yeah. He going to have to like crouch down a little bit. Feel me?
Tall
Like,
guy.
Yeah. Like height level. He like 6'4", you feel me? He big. I've taken a picture with Romeo Dobbs before.
He big is crazy.
And I
You
look
got
I
the
look
crowd
too
too.
I look
Oh
too
my
crazy.
goodness.
Like I look too crazy
To
standing next
who?
to Dobbs.
Gotta
Dobbs.
just
And
embrace
Dobbs
it.
is Romeo Dobbs is like 6'3", 6'4". So Jordan
Well,
Love's
I
definitely
look
taller.
so small next to Christian Watson. I can only
Same.
imagine how you. But you know what? I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
say
well,
the rest of
Love
my
is
statement.
Christian Watson's height, so that's what I'm saying.
No,
I
Watson's
I
wouldn't-
like
look, I look
6'4".
little
Yeah.
get next to.
Nah, I
Christian
wouldn't
Watson,
take a
too.
picture like you feel me, him, me. That's it. Nah, like I'll take a selfie.
It's really dead crazy, Riv, because we are to the normal human beings tall.
We're good height.
We
Them
in
niggas- them
our
niggas huge.
profession, we are
Them
average.
niggas are huge. Like,
Do you know who's small?
Who?
Schefter.
Yeah.
really?
Bro, small as shit. Do you know who else is small? Ian Rappaport.
Yes. I feel like
Yo.
Ian Rappaport's smaller than Schefter.
Brian Scalabrine was huge too.
I mean,
Stood
yeah,
next to him.
I mean,
He was
NBA dudes are different.
When did you see Brian Scalabrine?
Well,
Big
we
three
went to-
event.
Yeah, Big Three in DC.
We took a picture of him. We took a picture with Gilbert too.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Even
those are
I
cool.
think what was it, Tina Turner? She's big too. She was like 6'4".
But here's the thing: it's like
You take that down.
I definitely I'd climb that tree.
Jordan Love is one. Garrett Wilson is like 1B. You know,
Yeah.
like I want to definitely chop it up with Garrett Wilson. You know, just tell him like,
But
yo, what's
what
good?
do you think's gonna happen pregame, like on the field? Do you think you're just gonna be able to talk to these
They're
players?
gonna be warming up, so a few will come up and say what's up. I'm
You
sure.
think?
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try to
That'd be
come
lit.
or pause. I'm gonna try to arrive there early
I think that's
as I
worse.
can.
Arrive.
Arrive. Yeah, what do you mean? There's nothing you can.
Well,
attach
there's
to
probably a
arrive.
certain time because I used to work those Jets like on field stuff. There's probably a certain time you got to be there for.
You did used to work that.
Yeah,
I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my mini Jets helmet and I'm gonna bring like a Sharpie.
that's a
And
good idea.
Any Jets player that I see like Garrett, can I get this? Brees, can I get this? And they'll sign like my mini helmet. I'm not gonna bring my like obviously big helmet.
Breeze,
Too
can
big.
you come and sign this for me, please?
Yeah, if you go early, you could definitely just like go down the 100s by like the tunnel and just wait for people to come out before you go on field.
Yeah, like I know for certain, like getting Jets players' attentions and getting them to rock with me is not gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
you know I'm
I
a
mean,
diehard Jets
gear
fan.
effects.
But for the pack for Jordan Love,
You gotta bring two fits.
like for Jordan Love. Like,
so only
I don't know how I'm
one
gonna do
game
that.
you're gonna be on the field.
Yeah, which is I'm gonna be on the field before the game. So I
That's
go
what
to
I'm
my
saying, one game.
yes, the Packers one. I'll just try to DM Jordan Love and just see if he responds. Just let him know I'll be there.
Well, we have the connect with
Christian
Christian Watson. Might hit him up.
Yeah, no, like yo, listen, Christian Watson, I'm gonna be there. I would love it if you could set up a
Well,
meeting
the
between
bad
me and
news
Jim Love.
is I hit up Christian Watson's manager when he signed the extension. No answer.
Oh, really?
I don't even.
Yeah, no, it's cooked.
I don't know. You could hit him up again.
No, I'll just send Jordan Love a message. I've sent him messages in the past before.
How many has he looked at?
None.
How many messages?
3.
Can you
How
read
many
them?
were Mahomes?
Mahomes on Instagram or
Yeah.
on
still
Twitter?
Instagram.
On Twitter, I've responded to him a bunch. On
He
Instagram,
responded or
No,
he
DM'd. I'm saying.
DM'd him a
oh,
bunch.
DM Patrick Mahomes maybe like a couple times, just saying like, yo, I'm DMing you. The first day, I'm DMing you to get your attention for the next year. I just like stop after like the second day. So for J Love, let me see what I have, and I also send this to Rudy, who's gonna edit this podcast, and he could put it on the screen.
Scene.
Damn.
Who? Oh,
You
the
just said
manager.
congrats?
Congratulations to CW. Deserved. Would love to get him on the podcast soon whenever he has the time this
Yeah,
offseason.
there's just too much dick riding that message. Yo, well deserved.
I just said deserved.
Yeah.
well.
You should have
That
just sent him the
matters.
picture of Dells and Christian Watson. Yo, what's good? All right, so
That's funny as fuck, bro.
I have 4 messages. January 26, 2020, I mentioned Jordan Love in my story. Story's unavailable. It's
I
probably when he got
remember that
drafted.
story though.
Yes, February 18th, 2020, I mentioned him again in my story. You know, obviously no
I
response.
don't know.
This was early this year, August 29th at 1:08 p.m. I messaged him through his story and I said, "Go get that chip, bro." And I put this emoji, like the locked
Cross some
in.
fingers.
And you cursed him.
And then February 10th at 4:30 p.m., he posted a story and I said, "Looking good, bro," with the muscle emoji.
Was that before or after you converted to being a Jets
Looking
fan?
good, bro, is insane.
Telling him to go get that chip, knowing damn well he wasn't going to get that.
That
Was
too.
crazy.
Doing
I was
that
like-
after you're a Jets fan is like cheating. I'm not gonna lie.
No, that was February. That was before.
But we were there for Super Bowl week. That's like
February
the same
what,
week,
bro?
10th.
Oh shit!
Oof. When's the
It's
Gary V
close.
video?
It's
It's
close.
getting messy.
Well, I said looking good though,
But still, it's like
Why
you're hitting
would
up
you
your
say
ex.
that?
That was gay.
because he was looking good. What the fuck?
What,
He was
why you
looking
don't tell
good.
none of us that?
Do you remember what he was wearing?
Because I tell you it in person. No, I don't. I wouldn't know what he posted, but he posted something enough to be like, "Yo, looking good,
He
bro."
was probably shirtless.
like you was bro. Like yeah, you're funny as fuck, bro.
Okay, let me see.
Fucking
Patriots.
drools tripping onto his phone.
He's probably like, oh, what if he answers? Ridiculous.
Okay, Patriots Seahawks was February 8th, so it's 2 days after. Yeah,
Oh, so we definitely saw Gary
yeah.
V before.
Way
Yeah,
before.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
You're done.
he was looking
He was
good.
texting his ex.
Dead ass.
He was looking good, bro.
He was missing him.
I can't quit you.
Nah, yeah, I'm still, you feel me, but
You're still what? Both?
still locked into Jordan Love.
You should be.
Like, I can't never give up Jordan Love.
You shouldn't. That's
Jordan
your
Love's
prize
my
baby.
dog. Like
That shit
Mahomes
is,
won a
man.
Super Bowl. Jets, winning, but supplant all of that. But in terms of quarterback fandom, Jordan Love got to get his next. Jordan Love or Burrow, one of those two. They get theirs
We
next.
haven't heard about Burrow
I
in
forgot
a
he was a
minute,
Burrow
bro.
fan, bro.
They get theirs next, and I'm good, man.
Bro was
I'm
really
good. I'm
quiet
happy.
for like the last 2 years.
He's hasn't been on the field, But the real ones know about Burrow.
Didn't he throw 40 touchdowns 2 years ago?
Yeah,
He's healthy. He's a
I'll be
fucking
honest.
dog.
If Lamar didn't have the greatest regular season of all time, I'd tell you Joe Burrow should have been MVP.
Joey B, man. But we're going to kick off this episode talking about the AFC East. And then we're going to talk about some training camp things that have happened because training camp is underway and we have to talk about some of the things like Eagles fans victory lap and A.J. Brown being washed. And then he responds with like 4 touchdowns in a span of 2 practices with the Patriots. It's just hilarious, bro. The jokes write themselves. But A.J. Brown going to be back.
So I think what was hilarious, it's okay.
You gotta just ignore them, bro.
The Eagles fans,
You be too invested. You gotta just ignore them.
they just be popping them off TL.
Yeah, you got war.
Drake May like had this beautiful ball to AJ Brown,
It was flawless.
and they're like, "Yo, yeah, Christian Gonzalez ain't fucking try on that shit. He ain't fucking try. He ain't fucking try, bro."
Oh, was that a different ball then that I'm seeing?
No, there
'Cause
was
I saw
2.
number 4. Number 4 was in coverage, not Gonzalez.
Well, it's a good thing we're talking about the Patriots because they're going to be a big topic of conversation, and we're going to start this episode with them in the AFC East because they won the division this past season. They made it all the way to the Super Bowl and lost to the Seattle Seahawks, but wasn't the most impressive playoff run specifically from Drake May's perspective. Their defense was incredible. Drake May, a little bit underwhelming, and those offensive line issues were on full display. So this offseason, they brought in Elijah Vera Tucker. They needed to bring in more playmakers for Drake May, and they brought in A.J. Brown, and they brought in Romeo Doubs.
That wide receiver room overnight went from one of the weakest in the league to one of the best.
Yep. It is one of the better ones.
AJ Brown, Dobbs,
And the list.
and Kayshon Booty.
Kayshawn
bad.
Booty.
Yo,
My bad.
Drew is hilarious, bro.
I'm sorord. I think one of the best is a big
If
one.
Kayshawn Booty
It's
is
a
your
top
third
10 receiver
receiver,
in the
you're
league.
in a
No.
good position.
Top 10.
I'm going to go through
think
it.
top 10,
You
saying
keep
one of the
talking.
best?
You
Top
keep
10,
talking. I
one of the best.
apologize for cutting you off.
If you're a top 10 anything, you're one of the best.
I give that to
The
you.
teams,
You know what I mean?
look-
But is it
I
better than the
don't know
Broncos?
if you're top 10.
It's better than the Broncos.
It's close.
Waddle and Sutton,
Yeah, no, it's better than the Broncos. AJ's better than Waddle. And I think the rest are kind of close.
Pat Bryant.
Booty,
Okay. No, I'm not going to argue.
meh.
I'm not going to argue.
They have AJ Brown.
But when
That's what I'm
Pat Bryant
saying.
breaks out, you're cooked.
I think Pat Bryant's a dog, but I think Booty's a dog
What
too.
about Marvin Mims?
Great returner.
Elite big-time play guy.
Great
Great
returner.
returner.
Great
I think the
returner,
fact that they
matters.
have Waddle and Sutton, though, like,
Yeah.
the Patriots don't have a number
They
2
don't
I
have
receiver.
think
They don't have the
Romeo
yin and yang.
Dobbs
Good
is a
Sutton.
good too.
They
I
don't
think
have the yin and
Sutton's
yang.
better,
They don't have the
but
yin and
I
yang.
think Dobbs is a more than qualified too.
And I'm not telling you we have a top 10 wide receiver duo.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
You would never say that shit.
But that's the thing. You were really like
Top 10.
AJ Brown's amazing. Don't get me wrong,
Oh,
but
shit.
like
Here we go.
he's carrying Romeo Dobbs to a top 10 wide receiving duo.
I think so.
My God.
Well, he said top 10 receiving core.
But,
Core facts, core facts.
Kayshawn Booty, with all due respect.
Kayshon Booty's one of the best wide
He's a
receiver threes in the
good
game.
player.
Who cares?
When you're talking about a wide receiver core, your wide receiver 3 matters. Majority of
guess
the
you're
time,
not
you're
wrong.
playing 11 personnel. You're gonna have 3 receivers.
Well, the
out
easy
there.
one is the Cowboys is better, right?
Cowboys is better. Bengals is better.
The Rams is better.
Rams is better.
Vikings are better.
That's 3. The Vikings is
Um,
better. That's 4.
Vikings, sure.
Why-
the
what do you mean,
Lions.
Sure.
Juwan Jennings is their wide receiver
valid.
3.
It don't even matter.
Lions is better.
Lions has 5.
5.
The Bears.
If
You
you're
include
including
Love-
Loveland,
You don't have to include Love in this.
You don't have to.
I think without Loveland.
Healthy Niners.
Whoa, Rome.
Roman Luther. I would take.
If you throw
If you
in,
throw in Loveland, valid. But
'cause I
this,
was about
I
to
just
say-
said wide receiver core. So,
He is their wide receiver.
so 5.
The Niners, Mike Evans, Ricky Pearsall.
Well, Ricky's
Strickland.
Ricky
Ricky
might be out for the season, bro.
see, this is where you have to start throwing in tight ends.
They brought in Debo.
But if you throw in tight, okay, even still,
Oh, what about Jacksonville?
Jacksonville, maybe. It's just I
They
don't
got
know.
Parker,
Do they have
got
a one?
BTJ.
What
Know what
about
I mean?
Seattle?
That's fair.
Just JSN, bro.
What you mean? They got Cooper
It's
Kupp.
Shaheed.
I know,
And
but
Shaheed and
it's
Tarek.
Shaheed who
Honest.
they didn't really use, and then Cooper Kupp, who's more of a
Give me
blocker than a
Seattle.
receiver at this point.
I would
Yeah,
rather.
no, Seattle's
Jackson's.
definitely better.
I'll
Give me
take
Jacksonville.
New England. I'll take New England.
What?
That is crazy.
I don't think so.
You know what he's doing.
I think Dobbs is better than Shaheed, and I think Booty is better than Cooper Kupp.
But you
And
took
I think JSN is top 3, but AJ's like top 7.
You took the Patriots over the Broncos because AJ Brown's better than Jalen Waddle. Jay is saying clear as AJ Brown.
Okay, sure, but they're 2 and 3. Like I think
Sutton
Rashid
was
Shaheed
better than Dobbs.
yeah, but I think that's close.
No,
And you don't
it
think Rashid
isn't.
Shaheed and Dobbs is close?
They
Dobbs
didn't
has
use
never
him. How many
touched
yards
the-
did Shaheed have
Dobbs
last year?
ever
But as
touch
a
a
player,
band?
you know he's a good player.
No, he is a good player.
Dobbs never touched a band.
No, but Sutton was the wide receiver 1 for multiple years. He was like the focal
There was
point.
opportunity for Dobbs to be the one. He just
Yeah.
never could take that leap because he's a wide receiver 2 at best.
Well, I think Sutton was the wide receiver 1. He was the best receiver on the team. I don't think Dobbs is. I don't think either is a true wide receiver 1. I think there's just more players in Green Bay that were around Dobbs' skill level when you guys were putting out Troy Franklin and Marvin Mims for the last 2 seasons.
But Sutton's
Like,
gone
if
for
it
over
Ro-
1,100.
But if Romeo Dobbs was with Troy
Jaden
Franklin,
Reed, it's Jaden
Christian
Reed,
Watson,
but
Tucker
Christian
Kraft
Watson
broke
can't
out.
stay on the field. Tucker Kraft also got hurt. There was opportunity
Golden this
for
year,
Rome.
I think there's just been
For
more.
Rome, for Romeo.
I
There's
think
been
that
more.
Shaheed is closer to Dobbs and Dobbs is closer to Sutton.
Maybe.
No,
Maybe.
it's a fact. But
I think Shaheed's good. It's just last year.
I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna just over like Seattle. You got to give Seattle.
All right, fine. Take Seattle. That's 6.
That's 6. So
We're just gonna let him just put Seattle over.
What about
the
the
others?
4 more?
I'm be honest. Arizona.
Nah,
not yet.
not without McBride.
Marvin, Michael. You saw I'm not getting tight ends. I'll shut
Wide
up.
receiver
I'm
core.
getting
Wide
no-
receiver core.
Yeah, no
Okay.
tight ends. Yeah, he made
Because
it.
Marvin and Michael
Specific.
with Trey McBride. Give me
Did you
that.
say Rams? Did you guys say
That's
Rams?
Said
Yes.
Rams.
That's
Said
easy.
Rams.
NFC South Panthers. No, I don't think so.
Panthers, no.
The Saints. No.
TBD. Giants, probably not. Saints, TBD.
The Bucks.
Olave and
It depends
Tyson.
what Tyson is. Yeah, it depends what Tyson is.
Titans, no, not yet at least, because Carnell, Wandale, Ridley, it's decent.
Zachariah
Oh,
Branch is having a
Houston?
good camp.
Give me.
I think I'll take Houston.
I'll take New England.
It
don't know.
depends on
I
what
think
Tank
Higgins
is.
could be better than Dobbs.
Higgins,
bro.
Knoll, Tank Dell, Nico Collins. Honestly,
Higgins could be better than Dobbs.
honestly, I
bro.
take.
I'm not
Houston.
gonna lie. I went through the rest. They're like we're putting them at like 7, and that's Seattle's a debate.
We're not putting them at 7.
Seattle's not a debate. Broncos, I take the Broncos.
Yeah, I do think that New England falls there. 7, 8.
One of the best.
I wasn't the
There you go,
one.
Dale.
8.
I was
No,
the one
I'll
that
take top 8.
You're not giving us tight ends. Fair play.
He
Even
just said wide
if
receiver,
it
yeah.
was tight ends, they'd still be borderline top 10.
Borderline.
Yeah,
Borderline.
by
they
some wide
would
receiver
because
core.
I mean
then you
Niners,
put- you
Cardinals.
put
You
the
give me the
Niners and
Bears,
Cardinals
you give me the
and
Niners, and you give me the
So then they're
Cardinals.
like 11,
So I'd be right.
but we didn't give it to them.
And fair.
His wordplay.
You know,
was
it
key.
is a good, talented group, but you know, it is true the turnaround the Patriots have made, which is why I think some of the regression concerns with them gets overridden because they brought in things they needed. They brought in a true number 1 wide receiver. They brought in Romeo Dobbs who can complement that group.
Lions, by the way.
They still have
We said
Kayshawn
Lions.
Booty. And now you have an offensive line that you hope is going to get better this upcoming season so we can open up the run game. Because I think that's probably the part of their offense that was the weakest link. You know, it was very Drake May reliant, but in terms of rushing the football, they really weren't able to find a rhythm at all last season.
Yeah, no, I think that when you look at the additions that they did make, it was to key pieces of their offense. And I think that when we talk about breakout players, I do believe that there was a realness to Will Campbell pre-injury and Will Campbell post-injury. Will Campbell before the injury was one of the best tackles in the game. And then after the after the knee injury, which he did miss time before the regular season ended, he comes back before the postseason starts just because obviously they know that they're better with him on the field. And it didn't end up being true. He was so terrible. He gave up more pressures
He also
in the
played some
4
dogs,
games.
though.
Good point. But he
some
played
dogs.
4 games and let up more pressures in those 4 games than he did the entirety of the regular season. Which, could you say he played better comp? Absolutely, you can take that route. But also prior, when he's playing decent comp in its own right, not great, not elite, but good comp, he's one of the better tackles in the game. I think that him being injured, him going up against Daniil and Will Anderson and the Nick Benito, it wasn't a great combination of things with the knee injury. But I do think him getting back healthy, Elijah Vera Tucker, you add A.J. Brown, Romeo Dobbs, the offense needed life. And for a team that had so much success, for their offense to be as lacking in the talent department as it was, I'm very intrigued. I think Ramondre Stevenson has an amazing year this year. Everybody's talking about Travion Henderson. I think that that's a fair thing to do because he's exciting. He's a big play machine. But go look at that second half of the season. Ramondre Stevenson took control of that running back room, and he was very efficient, very effective. One of the bright spots of their postseason run was Ramondre Stevenson. So I do look at this team and think they are a great team. They are a team that should be respected as one of the better teams in this league. And honestly, the only real question you could have on them is, well, now you get to play a first place schedule. Now you get to play against teams that now they're going to be favored. You're not going to always be favorites in these games that you're going to go up against. And I think that this team is talented enough to go up there and match up against them. I'm excited to see what this team has in store. I'm trying my best not to be biased when I talk about the Patriots because I definitely see them as one of my main competitions or the Broncos' main competition for the AFC. But you look at this team, it's loaded with talent, one of the better cornerback rooms. I mean, you have one of the best corners in the game in Christian Gonzalez. This is a Milton
CB1,
Williams.
according to Madden.
That should hurt you, didn't it?
It didn't hurt because it's just ridiculous. It's
Yeah, they have Bobby
nonsense.
Wagner top 10.
He's an all-time legend. So I'd look at the Patriots and acknowledge this is a talented roster, and they did get better. How are they going to look against good comp? Honestly, I think they're going to fare well.
Bobby Wagner was an 89 overall.
Yeah.
And he's unsigned.
It's ridiculous.
What was Matt Milano?
I don't know. Was he not top?
He'd be top 10 in a lot of matters.
Yeah.
He'd be like 91.
They had Isaiah Pacheco higher speed than Bichon.
No.
They had Bichon like 91 speed, bro, and like Pacheco like 94 or some shit.
Pacheco's slow.
Yeah, I don't
Madden's
know.
not good with the ratings.
It's just the
That's
way
why I
he
go in
runs,
there
I
and fix
guess.
them.
Yeah.
Madden's ratings are awful.
So bad.
But the only reason why it's ridiculous, outside of the obvious that Surtain obviously has hardware, is that name one thing that Gonzalez is better than Surtain.
I'm with you.
There's
Stu is the best in the
literally nothing he does better than him.
Best in the game, man.
Let me see. Yeah.
will
according to
say-
Underdog, 93 speed for Pacheco,
I
91
will
for Bichon.
say Gonzalez's performance against JSN was beautiful in the Super Bowl. It was beautiful. And even still, there was routes where JSN won, but for majority, Gonzalez did his job.
Yeah, he did a good job. The Patriots just really couldn't score
They couldn't
in,
stop
in the
run.
playoffs for the most part. And that's why I felt like the offensive talent upgrade was just so apparent for them because it's kind of weird, like seeing how much they struggled running the ball. Like their offense last season was first in drawback EPA and first in success rate. Their rushing offense was 25th in rush EPA and 26th in rush success rate. This is not a team that could run the ball all that well. They were very one-dimensional, and it was behind an offensive line that was average, but definitely not a great offensive line that you trust to hold up against better pass rushes in the NFL, and that's why they were kind of exposed. But the fact that you added in A.J. Brown and added in Romeo Doubs is where I think everything changes. I wouldn't be surprised if Drake May has another MVP-like season. I wouldn't be surprised if the Patriots win the division once again because they are that good. Them and Buffalo are two really good teams. Right now, I favor Buffalo a little bit, just slightly, but both of their schedules are pretty difficult. Like you look at the Patriots.
I was looking at it today. I had them both around the same amount of wins.
The Patriots have games against the Broncos, Packers, Chiefs, Vikings, Chargers, Seahawks, Lions, Bears, Jaguars, and of course they play the Bills twice and the Steelers.
And the Jets.
12 games against potential playoff teams the Patriots have. 7 of them are on the road.
It's brutal.
First place schedule.
And their road games are Seattle, Jacksonville, Buffalo, Chicago, Detroit, the Chargers, and the Chiefs.
And listen, as much as we can give them shit for the schedule that they had last season, to be fair to them, they went into the playoffs, did not play nearly at that level, and won.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that should be a little bit of a relaxing thought for Patriots fans is we didn't have this talented of a team that we're going to have in 2026, and we beat the Texans. We beat the Chargers.
They played a backup.
In
Denver.
No, but I'm not counting us. I'm not counting us.
Like
They
this-
did beat us.
this team
but
without a
they
doubt
did
is
not
better.
look good against us at all, even with
they
the
didn't-
backup.
their offense is gonna get better. I think we all agree. Like offensive line should improve. You got AJ Brown, you got Dobbs. Their offense didn't look good at all in the playoffs. Like outside of maybe it got progressively worse. And I think their defense kind of held them up for the most part. But they played a backup in the conference championship game. And then the first 2 rounds, they played C.J. Stroud, who was, I don't know, what was wrong with him, and then Justin Herbert, who's known traditionally not to play well in the playoffs. So it's like kind of 2 things can be true where our defense did play really well. We also played in the playoffs some incompetent quarterbacks, outside of the Super Bowl where they played Sam Darnold, even though he didn't have the greatest of games. So I think their defense this year is probably going to be improved, but now you're looking at a schedule where you are playing 12 potential playoff or 12 playoff teams from before. You're having 7 of those games on the road. Your offensive line was average last year. You're going to play better pass rushes. You're going to play, better secondaries, but you're bringing in more talent. I do like their defensive tackle room. I think it's really dope that what they have in the front 4. And their secondary is going to be good. But for the New England Patriots, it's not per se about talent. I think it's just more about what can you get out of that offense when the passing game isn't going. You mentioned the rushing numbers. If they don't have a run game, it's really hard to just go out there. We've seen the Texans struggle when CJ was good because they didn't have a run game. When you don't have a run game and you're playing top end, defenses, it becomes really hard for you to move the ball. So if they can just continue to have a competent, run game, have Henderson kind of do what he can do, and because we saw in spurts last year, Henderson be great when he is a ship. I remember the Buffalo game where he just completely broke off for a couple big time runs. He had one run where he was running to the right and then just completely turned the opposite way, touchdown. So he has that type of, big play ability. For New England, it's just about, can you scale up, your play? Can you, in the playoffs, it was weird. 2 things can be true. You play like shit, but you also made it to the Super Bowl. But now can you do that? Like go into this season, you have more maturity, you have better players, you're going to have a tougher schedule. Can you put that all into play and come to play week by week? I think that's the biggest question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it was just really the tale of 2 seasons, regular season and postseason, right? The regular season's a super easy schedule. They beat Buffalo on the road, to give them credit for that. The only real other win you're looking at is a win in Baltimore, but Lamar got hurt halfway through that game, and the Ravens ended up not even making the playoffs. So outside Buffalo game, it's hard to look at the regular season and pinpoint those key victories. So then you go into the postseason, and there's some skepticism, but to their defense, it's like you played 4 of the top 5 defenses in football, probably, right? You're going up against Jesse Minter and the Chargers in the first round. You're going up against D'Amico and Houston in the second round, Vance Joseph in the third round, then Mike McDonald in the Super Bowl. It's just, you went back to back to back to back, some of the best defenses in football and some of the best defensive minds in football. And that's when it really showed just the lack of talent this team has. Because especially last season, when you have Matt Collins out there, for example, and the offensive line isn't right because Will Campbell isn't right. So I just thought the deficiencies they had really showed up in the playoffs when you were going up against top competition, and your team, as it was constructed last year, just wasn't built for it. I think the offensive line is one area you could definitely look. Obviously, the receiver room is going to be great because you added in 2 new starters who are legit, a superstar in AJ, and I think a really competent 2 in Dobbs. But if you're getting Campbell healthy, AVT healthy, Jared Wilson's moving to center, which is what he played in college. You drafted Caleb Lomo in the first round. It's an offensive line that, if they're together and healthy, and plus you got some insurance now with Lomo in case, Morgan Mose or something, or Will Campbell, you have some insurance there. That's the unit I think you have to go into next year and say, we got to protect Drake May better, because going into the playoffs, what all those defenses were able to do, he was getting pressured a ton. And I think Travion is really the X factor here, because you feel good about AJ Dobbs, some of these weapons. Travion has shown the breakaway ability. Like, we know the speed is there. We know the playmaking is there. But for him, it's still the little things. Like, Mike Vrabel even said it. Ramondre is really good in pass protection. Trevion's still working on that. And Vrabel said that like a week ago. So I don't feel great about, is his role really going to expand this season if he doesn't get pass protection, which is ironic because coming out of college, that was one of the things that people thought were a strong suit of his. So if he's not able to do that, if he's not able to be a consistent runner, because you would see those big breakaway runs, like the Tampa game, for example, but then every other run in between was like 2 yards, 2 yards, 2 yards. And we could debate offensive line or Travion. Ramondre was at least more successful in terms of like just down to down, being able to pick up positive yards as compared to Travion Henderson. And then defensively, I think the most interesting thing was for them was how much the defense improved in the playoffs. Because in the regular season, we looked at it as like a whatever unit, like maybe an average-ish unit. And in the playoffs, it's not like they went and acquired someone crazy. I think 2 things. Number one, like you guys mentioned, the quality of opponent. You're going up against terrible offensive line in the first round, terrible offensive line in the second round, and a backup quarterback in the third round. The only thing they really changed schematically was the amount they were blitzing. They were about 27% in the regular season. They went up to like 41, 42% in the playoffs. How much is that of them like changing? They looked at the regular season. We got to change things up. And they're going to do that next season versus just the opponents. Oh, we're going up against these bad offensive lines. Let's throw extra people at them, mess up their communication. And then same thing with the backup quarterback. So that's going to be, I think, the biggest question is that something they're going to take into next season, or they can get some more exotic looks on the defensive side? But, Drake, I think, is a top 6 or 7 quarterback in the world. The team got better, and they just went to the Super Bowl. So I feel really good about them. It's between them or Buffalo who wins the division, because obviously the other two teams don't stand a chance.
No, they don't. I mean, the Jets, an outside chance they do.
You said outside chance?
Yeah, the Dolphins, we know.
What type of outside chance are you talking about? Like, give it a percentage.
It's like a 25% chance.
25%.
The Raiders felt this same type of.
Yeah.
Y'all were high on the
But
Raiders
the
last
Patriots
summer.
probably did too a little bit last year.
Nah,
but
not 25%.
it's more so about the Geno experience with the Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But your offensive line is drastically better than theirs.
Yeah, the Jets aren't getting that Geno Smith. They're getting Seattle Geno.
I hope so. That'd be great for Garrett
Who
Wilson.
went 27 and 22 as a starter.
I was gonna say last year in Seattle.
He didn't make the playoffs.
He did
a
once.
lot in Seattle. He missed it twice, right?
He did once.
They missed it once by
It was
But
like
they were
having a
still
10
they
and
were like
7
10 and
record.
6.
they
right?
were competitive.
at a 10-7 record.
Geno's pretty good.
He is good. He's a good quarterback.
No, I said he was really good. I
He's
don't know
still
yet.
good.
We'll see.
I'm rooting for him.
So wait and see.
But
I'm
even
rooting for
not,
him.
I mean, K. Klubnik has been playing really well in camp.
You said outside change you win the division. You're relying on
25% chance is ridiculous.
I mean, it's 4 teams in a division.
Yeah, but come on, bro.
So that means
the Cardinals
Buffalo and New England have a 50-50. Miami has 0.
so Miami has 0. The Jets have 25. That means the rest of the division has 75%.
Sure.
Okay. All right. So
Yeah.
we got split up 75 for the Bills and Patriots. That means the Jets are close if they're at 25.
They're not that
37
far
and a half
off.
to both.
I mean, if you gave the Jets Drake May, they'd probably be the favorite to win a division too. You know,
If you gave
Or
the Jets
Josh
Drake
Allen.
May, I don't know. They'd be in discussion. Sure.
the roster that the Jets have is really good.
Yeah, but quarterback play is super important.
They're and Geno Smith's a good quarterback.
But it's such a drop off between those two and him.
No, yeah, but he's a good
That's all.
starter.
Oh, you guys weren't here during the Quincy spoiler. This guy, he was going through the Chiefs and the Bills and some of their history.
Right.
How the Chiefs and the Bills may be not the best organizations, you know what I mean? Prior to them getting some of their quarterbacks, they've had some down years.
Yeah.
Then they had a stabilizer at quarterback. For the
Sure.
Bills, it was Tyrod. For the Chiefs, it was Alex Smith.
And this is the stabilizer.
Geno's the stabilizer. What happened after they got the stabilizer?
They got a franchise
Josh
quarterback.
Allen, Patrick Mahomes.
Okay.
Joel said, all we need is to find Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes.
So is that your Arch Manning? That's
and they'll be drafting high enough to get
You will?
that.
Okay.
well, not if we
They should.
Not if you
win
make
9
them.
games.
Yeah, no.
No, I
Not
think
if you
that-
win
no,
the division.
the
Hell
Jets
no.
are winning 7 stamped.
Stamped.
They're winning 7 stamped.
Like stamped.
I went through the schedule already. I know the 7.
All right, there you
Yes.
go. All right.
They're winning. They're winning both against Miami. They're winning against Arizona. They're beating Tennessee as well.
That's not a walking game for you guys, though.
I think they'll win.
Okay.
We
Solid
also-
playing with a chip on his shoulder. You gotta be careful.
Yeah, beat our ass.
I also believe that we'll
You said we were going to win one of the
yes,
4 New England
we'll
or Buffalo
win one
games.
of
Who you beating?
maybe Buffalo,
You haven't beat Buffalo in years.
maybe New England.
You haven't
I'm just
beat-
saying
all
we're
right.
gonna win one of those
Haven't
games.
beat New England in fucking long time.
Brother, what are we doing?
One of those games, and I think that the Jets can beat
no, we beat
Green
we
Bay.
beat the last Rodgers year.
Week
That was the
2,
last time.
week 2, the Jets can beat Green Bay with no Micah. You know that's going to be a
They could.
shootout.
They
That's going to be a
could.
shootout.
Man, don't let Jordan Love lose that game, man.
And Chicago too. I mean, they don't have a really good defense. That's going to be a shootout too. And the Lions, we match up well with them. They might not have Kirby Joseph playing for them this year.
I don't know
and
if you
Brian
keep up with
Branch
the Lions, bro.
is still
You got to score every possession.
yeah, it's
not,
you gotta put
not
up
going to be
40.
on the field. So I mean, I think the Jets, they got a chance against those
Better
teams
question:
too.
how many interceptions did the Jets get this year?
More than 0.
Oh, minimum 6.
6 would be pretty low still.
Nashawn Wright
At 6
was
himself, right,
amongst
or
the
4?
league leaders in interceptions. I mean, you have Nashawn Wright, you have Minka Fitzpatrick, you have D'Angelo Ponce.
Y'all are gonna get out the way week 1, and it's gonna be a whole spectacle.
It's going to be stupid. Yeah.
Yo, I think the week 1 against the Titans, I'm thinking about going to Nashville.
Oh.
Yeah, a friend of mine lives in Nashville,
Okay.
and he asked me like if I'd be down to go to a game there.
How
Cause,
much are tickets?
bro, it's honestly not a lot. It's like $200 sitting like in great seats.
So you're going to go to first 2 weeks, 2 Jets games.
Yo, I really might. And he offered me to stay at his like apartment.
Oh, okay.
He was like, "Yo,
so
you
just
could."
cop the flight.
Yeah, he was like, "You could
That'll
pull
either
up."
Make or break your season.
Week 1.
Games. Yeah.
Yeah, week 1 for sure.
Yeah.
Remember when you lost to Pittsburgh and we were like, "Yo, this might be it."
And then we fucking started like 0-8 or some shit.
It'd be cool because I have this goal. I don't know if I'm gonna ever achieve it, but I want to go to every NFL stadium. I want to go to their team shop, and you know those mini helmets that they sell, like not the mid-size ones, but like the real mini ones that you could put like on a shelf.
Mm.
I want to buy like a mini helmet from every stadium. So I went to the Raiders Allegiant Stadium and I bought a mini helmet from them. So I want to go do it for every team and I want to collect them and put it on a shelf. But I don't want to cheat because I could get the pack of all of them if I wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't want to cheat. I want to only put the helmet on there if I've been there. So just teams in the vicinity, the Jets is easy one to get. Giants is easy one to get. The I forgot to go get one for the Packers because I didn't have the time to go to the team store, which is a bummer.
That's a fuck up.
That's a bummer because
Go back
I don't
to
know
Wisconsin.
what's gonna be there. Philadelphia, the Eagles is easy. Pittsburgh is easy. Cincinnati's also not hard. Jess's brother lives in Cincinnati.
Pittsburgh's harder than you think, bud.
It is. It's not close. It's definitely not close.
6-7 hours.
Philly is definitely easy as
Of
hell.
course. Like Buffalo's not easy either.
No, it's not. It's not.
It'd be cold as fuck out there.
So
too.
yeah, so I'm planning to do that. So I don't know if I'm definitely not gonna accomplish it by this year, but maybe like in the next 4 years I'll be able to do that.
Yeah, don't forget, man, the Jets got picks. We could win the division and still get a top 10 pick. We got the Colts pick and the better of the Cowboys-Packers pick.
Maybe next year.
2027?
Mhm.
Maybe.
I don't think.
All they need, I mean, you just really need Indianapolis to implode or the Jets to be bad themselves.
That's what I said next year.
I'm being smart. I'm getting in now.
Buying low.
Yes.
Buying low. What could go wrong, man?
I feel like people don't realize that like it has to end at some point.
What?
Well, I do think you guys are close.
The Jets
like
It's
being
the closest
bad.
you've been in a
for
long
sure.
time.
I think it's gonna be next year. I don't think it's gonna be
2022, we were close.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I was in.
I guess that's 4 years ago.
It was, yeah, that's what I mean.
But we'll
Turn.
see because
Yeah.
this upcoming draft class, I'm gonna really study the
It's
quarterbacks.
supposed to be a great draft class.
And I know I'm gonna definitely favor one over the other ones, and that's the one I'm gonna be clamoring for the Jets to draft the entire time.
You saw the news about Dante Moore.
He might stay at Oregon again.
No, he likes to fart in huddles.
Oh, okay. He's just a funny
Boy, that's
guy.
so funny.
Well, he has my stamp of approval already. I
Okay.
wouldn't be mad if we get Dante Moore.
I remember you being upset about drafting him
Yes,
if he was.
if he came out this year, yeah, he wasn't ready. He needs another year in college
What makes you think he's gonna be ready next year?
because he'll have more reps in
Your
college.
development, hopefully.
You know,
He did have a lot, like very few starts that puts him in a bad company if he would have came
it
out.
was an
AR and shit,
alarming
right?
rate.
Yeah, Trey Lance.
But Mahomes
guys.
has said
Your
that
guys. Oh
Dante
my
Moore, he's a
God.
big fan of his game. Patrick
Mahomes said that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So if Patrick Mahomes gives the okay, then
Who are
I'm
you?
fine. Yeah. Who am I to
the fuck
say
am I
anything?
say?
I mean, Patrick Mahomes is one of the greatest quarterbacks we've ever
It's
seen.
like AJ Brown, Elijah Moore 2.0. AJ Brown had me thinking he was gonna be the fucking best receiver in Jets history.
He's better than me. Nah, yeah, but
That's crazy. Glazed twin nigga. Just he's better than me.
I'll be honest, that shit was lit. I was
oh
into,
my
man.
God.
I'll
Oh
be
my
honest, there was
God.
a time where I was buying the Jets hype badly.
Yeah, man, I miss it.
the Patriots, their record, I finished with the 11-6/10-7 record.
Mhm.
They have a really tough schedule. They're on the road for a lot of their tough playoff games. On to the Buffalo Bills. The Bills don't have an easier road, which is why this division is very hard to predict because the Bills and Patriots, the top two teams, they have similar schedules. You look at the Buffalo Bills. They have the 14th toughest schedule. They have 12 games as well against potential playoff teams. 6 on the road against the Denver Broncos, the Green Bay Packers, the New England Patriots, the Minnesota Vikings, the Los Angeles Rams, and the Houston Texans. Those are some really tough games to have on the road against a Texans defense that has Josh Allen's number, the Rams, who are probably going to have a generational defense, especially if Aaron Donald comes back. And then on the road against Denver is not easy. And on the road against Green Bay at Lambeau Field is not easy as well. Minnesota, I can see it because it's in a dome too, but Brian Flores' defense and how Minnesota's
What week
offense
is that Green
could
Bay? That's
potentially
probably
look
the easiest one.
potentially, like if Micah's
What
not
week is that?
healthy. I don't know what week it is. But
Oh.
you guys can.
But I remember going through the first 5 weeks are brutal. If Buffalo is able to get past the
They
first
usually
5
are.
weeks and they're 2-3, I think you're saying good because it is a tough
Buffalo
start.
usually can win these big games, so I don't be too worried about them.
Yeah.
The reason why I'm higher on Buffalo than New England this upcoming season is because they have an already established elite run game. which is something New England doesn't have. I know that the Patriots made a bigger, more impactful move at wide receiver, getting A.J. Brown. But I think DJ Moore is going to have a bounce back season.
Amen.
I think it's like written in stone that he's going to have 1,000 yards this upcoming year. DJ Moore will thrive with Josh Allen, and they need a receiver to be that playmaker. He's dangerous with the ball in his hands. He's really fast. I know that the last season in Chicago is still sour in a lot of people's minds because of how the divisional round game ended, because of the effort issues, which I think have been true. But over the last 2 years, DJ Moore in Chicago, especially that first year, it was Caleb Williams missing him a lot, where I think that there was some rightful frustration with DJ Moore. And then he also didn't show the best energy. I think in Buffalo, we get a rejuvenated version of him, and I think he's in for one of the best seasons of his career.
I'm with you. Now, you guys the Packers play the Bills week 14.
It's December.
So it's definitely
Micah's
They get
close.
Houston out the way week 1.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's peak.
Could be could be good, could be bad.
I'm going to say this about the Bills because it's an interesting offseason that they've had. I say interesting because I do like the DJ Moore signing. I do like they retained some of their offensive linemen. I don't like that Matt Milano is still an unrestricted free agent. I think the fact that he hasn't re-signed.
He barely plays for them.
They're at an okay spot at linebacker, I think. Even
He's
without
been hurt
Milano.
the last 3 years.
They have
Last year he
Bernard.
played.
They have
Yeah,
Williams.
when he came back, then he got hurt again. He's hurt every year.
I still think that the fact he's a free
I
agent,
know what you're
which
saying,
means
though.
that you guys could probably bring him back and you don't want to.
Also means no one else wants him.
That's also
They've
fair.
kind of pushed away the old regime.
They have.
That used
But
to
the
be
only
They
around.
need
old
more
regime
speed.
there was really what? Like the only one I think of is Tre'Davious White.
Well, they moved off of Micah Poyer first, and then
Edmonds.
I forgot their cornerback room. They had somebody in front
Rasul
of Benford.
Douglas.
There it is. It was Rasul Douglas. They moved off of him. Like they've just slowly but surely
Teron Johnson.
got off these guys, And I think it's
They get
because
traded to Vegas.
yeah, they need more speed and they need more athletes and younger players. They need a rejuvenated defense because defensively, statistically, they somehow always end top 10. But when you watch them, you do feel like on third down, they're not good and they can't stop the run ever.
I do like them adding CJ Gardner-Johnson. I do like them adding Geno Stone. I also do like adding Bradley Chubb. They needed another pass rusher, albeit Bradley Chubb isn't what he was a couple of years ago, but just getting a legitimate Pro Bowl presence on that line, that's definitely going to benefit them. I am wholeheartedly with you, though. I think DJ Moore is going to have an amazing year this year. Josh was able to make it work with Brandon Cooks. And Brandon Cooks was viable down the stretch of the
He's
season
nice.
for them.
Respect him.
DJ Moore, I feel like these last couple of seasons, I don't want to say we've been robbed because this year he was definitely useful, had some insane big time plays. More bodies just got brought into Chicago. But I feel like Caleb year 1, it was kind of a lost year for him, which was unfortunate because we have big expectations, especially with all the hype around Caleb. We thought that offense would just click immediately, and it didn't. And it was due to multiple things. But I think him in Buffalo, there's a sense of urgency with not just him, but the organization, the offense, and also Joe Brady, year 1 of being head coach, wanting to set tone and show it's different now. I do think with Leonard being the defensive coordinators, I'm interested to see how that scheme works out with them, especially after bringing in 2 new safeties. But this should be a talented group, and I do agree with you. I do think the Bills are going to be my top team in the AFC East as well. But I think it's primarily because they've had the experience of playing all these tough games. The defense did get better. And you got a legitimate wide receiver for Josh Allen, who didn't have that, and they were a couple plays away from going to the AFC Championship. And honestly, I thought they were the better team than the Patriots at that time.
The discourse around Buffalo is always interesting because you can always tell when somebody's being disingenuous when it comes to them. It is correct that the Buffalo Bills in the regular season have been, for the most part, a great defense with Josh Allen. Josh Allen, I remember on ESPN not too long ago, they said that Josh Allen has never had a defense. That's not true. Josh Allen has had great defenses. The problem is that in the playoffs, the defenses fall off. I think about all those matchups against the Chiefs. I think about against the Denver Broncos. I know that they had a lot of turnovers, but that defense couldn't close it out. But I don't think that was one of their better units either way. You
That
look
was a
at
lifeless unit.
the year they faced the Dolphins in the wild card. A Skylar Thompson-led team put up 30 on the Bills defense.
That was nuts.
In the playoffs, the defense underperforms, which is not the same for you have moments where Kansas City defense doesn't perform. They gave Mahomes 13 seconds left and he was able to score. That's just ridiculous. There's no way to game plan for that. But in the 2023 runs where the defense was really elite for Kansas City, it was Mahomes playing ball control, and that defense against Baltimore on the road showed up and shut down that offense and created turnovers. That is something that the Bills defense in the playoffs has not done, which I think is the big separator. You look at their defense this past season, they ranked 12th, but when you look at the pass rush win rate, they were 27th, and their run defense, they were 28th in rushing yards allowed and 22nd in run stop win rate. So they didn't have a real guy who can win in a 4-man rush consistently. Their run defense was terrible, which is why I agreed with the firing of Sean McDermott. Even with how the season ended, which was mostly on Josh Allen, I agreed with the firing because you need somebody new defensively to bring in something different to this team.
I'm with you.
And I think that they have the young pieces, they have the speed and athleticism. I still worry about the pass rush because Bradley Chubb, Gregory Rousseau, and Oliver, you still don't have a dude that can get after it consistently. But I'm interested to see this defense with Jim Leonard, and I think that'll be the biggest X factor for this team's success this year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they wasn't innovative enough on the defensive side, especially come playoff time. So I think given the fact that they have these new players, they're young, they're youthful, athletic, have a little speed, it should definitely give you a bit of hope to where maybe they can cause turnovers, just create a little bit of havoc. The offense is the main issue for me. Not issue, but the thing where I'm looking at, because you're still bringing in a high-end offensive line. You mentioned they still have an elite rush game, one of the better running backs in football. I think Kincaid is also going to have a big year. I think this is another guy who, showed strides in his game last year, so really be a huge component of what they want to do. And now you're bringing in DJ Moore, who I think under Joe Brady is going to get more innovative play calling, whether it's screen routes, something short or an intermediate, or they're going to have it from the big wild plays. Keon Coleman, man, I think that's guy I'm circling because I'm apparently he's not having a good camp. And
he's cooked.
Him not leveling up like you wanted him to really hurts Buffalo because that could have been another guy opposite DJ Moore that can really help. Last year, they were plugging in guys like Brandon Cooks and stuff like that because they didn't, Keon Coleman could not get it together. But Buffalo has given you a floor for the last 5-6 years. Josh Allen has given you a floor in the regular season that you're going to win 11 games, 10 games, and you're going to make the playoffs. I think this team may not show that they've gotten better, but I think it was the right move in firing Sean McDermott. And I think if it's not going to be this year, next year, because like you mentioned, they don't have a guy, but they have a lot of young talent in the front four. They have a lot of young talent in the edge rushing department, the defensive tackle department. For me, it's always going to be the secondary for them. Can they just continue to uplift that? Can that secondary group hold out for just a little bit? Because this is a team, like I mentioned, couldn't get stops on third down, struggled against top-end wide receivers. Benford is great, but outside of Benford, what else do you have? But I'm excited because I think Buffalo, New England, this is going to be a healthy debate that we have. This is kind of got to be like the startup of when Josh was coming up and Brady was kind of fizzling out. We kind of got that for a little bit, but we're going to get it a little longer here. And I'm excited.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of pressure on Jim Leonard, right or wrong. I think if Jim Leonard goes out there and has success and the Bills are finally able to go Super Bowl, win a Super Bowl, he could be a head coach next year. That's how I think the NFL, that's what I think how fast Jim Leonard can level up in the NFL. He was defensive coordinator for 5 years at Wisconsin. He was the play caller. Over those 5 years, Wisconsin was number 3 in scoring defense, number 1 in yards allowed, number 1 in pass efficiency defense, number 3 in rushing defense, number 1 in opponent third down conversion. And they forced 112 turnovers, the 4th most in college football. So he was great when he was the play caller at Wisconsin. He goes over Denver, works in their DB secondary room. But he had been getting interviews and defensive coordinator interviews for the last couple of years now. So he's someone the NFL has definitely had their eye on. Of course, he's a former player. But I think a lot of it's on him because when it comes to the additions you made, you did add some like quality players, like we're mentioning, right? Like Bradley Chubb had a nice year last year for Miami. Geno Stone, CJ Gardner-Johnson. Like you've added some talent, but it's primarily the same guys you're bringing back. I think Ed Oliver being healthy is going to be the biggest change, right? In terms of like the front seven and the front four, that's the biggest question to me because they just really get very little push when it comes to stopping the run, right? You see last year, number one in pass defense. It's only because they have the worst rushing defense in football. They allowed the 5th most rushing yards, bottom 3 in yards per carry. And that's my biggest question is in the front seven, it's Bradley Chubb, it's Ed Oliver getting healthy, and they drafted TJ Parker in the 2nd round, I want to say. Those are the 3 additions you're kind of banking on, and I guess some maybe players stepping up to fix this rushing defense. Of course, Jim Leonard schematically being able to change some things as well. So my biggest question is, did they do enough in that front seven? Did they do enough to change this rush defense? Because we saw last year, you could have the quote-unquote number 1 pass defense. When you went up against guys, that did not matter. I mean, the Buffalo Bills defense at no point last season did we look at in any sort of light as like a real scary unit. We never talked about them with the Seahawks, the Texans, the Broncos, even like the fucking Chargers, for example. So I do think they were a very fake defense last year. And what Josh has shown throughout the years is that he's going to put up points offensively. You know what I mean? Like we know it's going to be one of the best offenses in football. Joe Brady has proven year in and year out now with Buffalo that he's going to orchestrate a high-level offense. The O-line's elite. James Cook's elite. Offense I feel fine about. It's just defensively, are you going to be able to get stops, right? Can you have a year like Baltimore had in 2023 where the defense really stepped up with a great, defensive coordinator? Can you have the Jesse Minter leap that the Chargers had when he first got there with Harbaugh back in, was that 2023 at this point? So I think that's where you're banking on. Can Jim Leonard come in and with his scheme and his philosophy be able to really uplift this unit? Because I don't think there's a huge talent overhaul that we're seeing year over year.
I think the Bills are going to win the division. The Patriots are really good, but the Bills having that elite of a rushing offense and being able to control games better is why I favor them. The Patriots' offensive line is really what deters me from believing them all the way. They made improvements at the receiver position, but the tackle position, how well can they protect Drake May? That is my biggest concern with New England. Buffalo's offensive line
is one of the best in the league.
They are one of the best, and I didn't know this as of recently, but Lloyd Cushenberry is their backup center.
Yep.
Austin Corbett is fighting for one of the starting guard positions.
They lost David Edwards.
They did lose David Edwards, who they're either going to start Austin Corbett or the, I think right now.
Cyrus Torrance starting.
Yes.
I don't know.
McGovern, I think, starting at center. So the other guard would be who Austin Corbett.
They have Alec Anderson right now.
Yes, Alec Anderson versus Austin Corbett. That's going to be the positional battle for that position. So the depth behind Buffalo's offensive line is also very good, though. Lloyd Cushenberry as a backup center is a great position to be in. And you mentioned it, like Dalton Kincaid, having him as a playmaker, DJ Moore, Khalil Shakir. Like these receiving rooms that don't have a number 1, all they need is a slight upgrade for the entire thing to make sense. Because Kincaid's really good, Shakir's really good. They just needed somebody that could threaten defenses vertically more consistently, and that's what DJ Moore is going to be. And I do believe the defense is going to take a little bit of a step up with Jim Leonard, because I'm very high on Deion Walker, who I think could be their best defensive lineman. He's 6'7". He was really a pass rusher last year, and he was awesome in his pass rushing snaps. If he can be an every down player, that changes everything for what their run defense can be. Right now, I'm just banking in that he'll be a really productive pass rusher. Run defending, I'm not quite sure, but Buffalo to me just feels like a more complete team than New England right now.
Did you guys speak about Dalton Kincaid while I went to the bathroom?
Riv
mentioned a bit,
Okay,
yeah.
good to say, because I just a couple stats if you didn't share any. EPA per play with Kincaid, they were a plus 0.166 while he was healthy on the field. Without him, they were minus 0.011. That's a difference of 0.177. In terms of success rate, 49% while he was on the field to 42.5. And then scoring, they averaged almost 30 points a game when he was healthy versus 23 when he wasn't on the field. It's obvious, too, the difference, just watching it, the offense and the level that they play at when Dalton's on the field. but now you get another weapon alongside him. That really intrigues me. And also, I wanted to make sure I wasn't tweaking. Milano did play 12 games plus the 2 in the playoffs to close out the year. Wasn't the best year of his career by any stretch of imagination, but he did stay healthy. And in the playoff game versus Jacksonville, he actually performed relatively well. Against us, nobody on that defense performed well. That's just an objective fact. But are we trusting Terrell Bernard to just lock in, be the one? Are we trusting that Dorian can come in and win the job?
Terrell for sure.
Okay.
Terrell for sure.
But I just don't think it's a bad decision to have depth, especially at the middle linebacker position. Especially after he just put forth, for his standard over these last few years, his first healthy year in a minute.
Yeah. I think drafting TJ Parker might.
That's
might
why
be
I also
use a
say
round 2 pick on him.
Correct.
Do you think the Bills are winning the division?
Yeah. But I picked them every year, though. I picked them 5
They give you a
years.
good reason to pick them every year, to be fair.
So who has the Patriots winning the division here?
I have New England.
It's close. It's
It is
so
super
close.
I'm not going to say it's not. It's super close.
Like, I might have them, like, the Bills winning on like a tiebreaker. That's how close
They
it
do.
is.
They both feel like 11-win teams to me.
That's why.
Who has a schedule so Riv can predict it?
I'll do it. Now, you drop a hook.
What's the hook, man?
What is the? I think the Buffalo Bills. I think the Buffalo Bills are going to win the division.
Okay, give us some more oomph.
I think Josh Allen MVP, DJ Moore 1,300 yards, 13 wins. Let's look at the schedule.
Okay, Riv's feeling confident about his Buffalo Bills. Let's see how they fare week 1 at Houston.
My other team. Let's go to loss.
Okay, week 2, Thursday night versus Detroit.
Get back. We win.
Okay,
Tough opening schedule,
it is pretty
It's nothing
tough.
tough when you have Josh Allen.
unless you have to go to the Super Bowl.
Or play against Bo Nix.
Week I'm a Lamar fan. You know,
What's that got to do with anything?
Go ahead.
Week 3 versus the Chargers.
Ooh, this one's cute. I like this matchup. Let me take Buffalo.
Week 4, division rival against the Patriots.
Is Buffalo home?
They are home.
I'll take this one for Buffalo.
Okay, week 5, Monday Night Football, prime time at the Rams.
Come on, buddy. The Rams.
Not even a thought.
Nah.
Okay, so, week 6 at Las Vegas.
Oh, Buffalo.
Okay, week 7, bye week with a record of.
Yo, Daz, I thought you were doing it, bro.
I looked at you and said, "Yo, keep count."
No, I'm playing. I got it. It's 4-2.
Okay, week 8 versus Baltimore.
They own Baltimore. Like, high key. I'm going to take Buffalo.
5-2.
That was a cute little dance, Stels. Week 9, Monday Night Football again at Minnesota.
Ooh, this is a tough game. I'll give Minnesota this on the road.
Interesting. Really? Okay, let's see how the rest of the schedule plays out. Week 10 at the Jets. Week 11 versus Miami. Week 12, Thursday Night Football, Kansas City.
Buffalo owns
This
Kansas
is
City in the regular
This
season.
is Thanksgiving too as well.
I'm going to take Buffalo. This is a big game, not a playoff game. Buffalo, they own Kansas City.
Week 13 at New England.
New England.
Okay. Week 14 at Green Bay.
I'm taking Buffalo.
Week 15 versus Chicago.
Taking Buffalo.
Week 16 at Denver. Loss.
Tough game. I think Buffalo, they're known to get their get back in the regular season, so I think Buffalo wins this one.
So they lose to Minnesota but beat the Broncos. Week 17 at Miami. And week 18, a flex game versus the Jets.
It's
How many
13-4.
It depends who they play. Like, are they going to play everybody that week? Do
Either
they need
way,
it?
it's 12 wins minimum, basically, is what you're saying.
Yes.
So the
12
Broncos
plus.
game, I'm not going to lie, you lost me. But
They could win or lose.
Minnesota?
Well, they can win or
If,
lose
well,
that
if
game.
Allen doesn't turn the ball over 4 times, then they could
Bro, you
definitely.
needed him to literally turn over 4 times. You guys aren't, like, they can't not beat you guys.
Jalen Waddle.
Josh
DJ
Allen.
Moore.
No, Josh Allen.
Bro just said DJ Moore.
Did you know that there's a stat that I'll share with you guys right now. The stat is
Spit it out. Get to it.
is-
Choke on it.
Oh, my God. This guy's getting
I'm
forward.
looking.
Here we go.
It's in my compartment of stats. The
Did Jalen text you
Denver
back, bro? What's up?
No, he hasn't.
I'm crying.
the Denver Broncos trailed in 15 games last season.
Warren
Oh, you
Sharp
saw
said-
that.
That
said this
is
earlier.
that is the most in history for a team that won 14 games.
Are you saying that's unsustainable?
Potentially.
Shout out to Davis Webb. Get ready. We're slinging the rock.
Yeah, he's being aggressive.
Because that's what the tweet really was talking about. How we had a very conservative offense, and then we let it go, and Bo was moving the ball.
So JK's playing all 17 this year.
And then I come. Realistically, if JK plays all 17 this year, he's a top 5 running back fantasy football.
No, yeah, I mean, the Broncos are locked to be a great team. It's one of the most talented rosters in the league.
Dennis cannot wait.
The real question is Jonah Coleman or RJ? Or RJ Harvey's going to be 2 because he has some pass
It's
catching
RJ
ability.
Harvey too.
But I feel like if JK goes down, Jonah Coleman could be the one getting more carries.
I do agree with you, but I do think that RJ will get the respect because he put forth strong levels of. I don't even want to say that. He was reliable.
Okay.
There you go.
So if Bo Nix doesn't perform this year, is it Davis Webb? Is it a Davis Webb problem?
It's a great
Maybe
question.
the schedule just got harder.
No, I don't think people are going to put on Davis Webb.
I don't think so too. We got Jalen Waddle.
They got Sean Payton more than anything.
Like that too.
I don't think Sean Payton's going to let them fuck out.
Because, I mean, it is risky, like going from Sean Payton to Davis Webb. I know Davis Webb is promising. He's an offensive coordinator. He's hoping to get a head coach. Like, this should be his head coaching job here.
Lombardi got kicked to the curb for Davis Webb.
Yeah, no, Sean Payton believes in him a lot.
He's so much so, he's like, please don't leave. I'm making my OC. I'll fire my guy.
And you're the play caller. It's crazy. I mean, listen, Sean Payton, good football mind.
Let me ask you a question. Do you think Sean Payton did just sign an extension, but like, do you think he's trying to give Davis Webb the keys?
I don't know.
Like being the head coach of the Denver Broncos, considering like new ownership, like how much money they're willing to put into the team, like that's a big deal.
Yeah, well, it's more because if Sean Payton just signed an extension, is Davis Webb going to want to stay there for 4
That's
years?
the fear.
You know what I mean?
That's the fear. But that's why I think there was such an urgency, even after we were so successful. Get Lombardi out, make you my OC. You are still young. You can grow.
Yeah, for sure.
And
well, it's probably best for his career. You could just study under Sean Payton for more years. Like, you should probably do that.
I agree. Like, in hindsight, don't you think McDaniel was just like, let me sit and wait?
Josh, you're saying?
Yeah.
Or Mike?
No, Josh.
Josh McDaniel? Yeah. Because he was being, groomed.
Groomed to be the guy.
Gerard Mayo was being groomed.
True.
Yeah.
Doesn't
Now
always
that
work out.
they don't have to play conservative and they can air the ball out, we're going to see
What
all
Bo
Nix's talent.
There we go.
I mean, we saw it against the Bills.
We're going to see it even more in the regular season.
17 games,
We
baby.
were talking about extension. If Bo Nix next year, extension time.
I mean, you need
$70
to.
million.
He's brought success to Denver.
Yep.
He's brought stability at quarterback.
Yep.
And
He's made us
he's
great
just
again.
somebody that he's a gamer. In the clutch, he's going to perform to the highest degree.
Why are you smiling?
Because you can't help but blush when you talk about Bo Nix. Like, I get it.
Bo Nix is just that guy, man. So I think that this upcoming year, we're going to see a big year from Bo.
We'll see you on the Super Bowl.
See you there, bro.
AFC East predictions. Here we go.
Gary Kubiak.
Legend.
Webb.
Legend, yeah.
Davis Webb.
Fucking
Yo,
legend.
if we go to the Super Bowl, same time we got to go.
We'll be there next year.
We should.
Anything
Yeah.
else?
We got to go.
But I've already said, if we make it,
Mhm.
I go, no questions asked.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I spend whatever money.
I'm with you because I know we gonna be there. So
Rams, gotta be careful.
I don't give a fuck about
Can't
that.
just dog walk through that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, have some respect. That's all I mean.
Who's going to be worse next year, the Dolphins or the Cardinals?
Dolphins.
I think
Are the Dolphins the worst team in the NFL?
Yes.
Every time we say a team is the worst team in the NFL,
Because
they
I
kinda
think
do
like
something
it's
different.
pretty clear cut the Dolphins are going to be one of the worst teams in football, if not the worst. I'm actually willing to say the Dolphins will finish with the worst record in the NFL.
All right.
And there is not a place that was worse for Malik Willis than Miami. I just want to get that straight.
Yeah.
If he went to Arizona, I'd actually be optimistic about the season that he could put forth. But in Miami, with an offensive line that was below average last season, with no real playmakers on the outside, with a defense that wasn't that good last year, the Dolphins, they're going to be terrible. They're going to be awful.
So they're giving A-Chain the ball like all year, like they're gonna spam him.
We saw Achan's goal to win the rushing title.
There you go.
He knows this season's not going to be fun.
Yeah, this shit just.
He might not even have a chance if they're going to be down in games. They're going to have to pass it.
Yeah, listen, individual success when it's a season like this, I respect that.
Von H.N. to the fucking moon, man.
The only thing I'm worried about with Achan, I haven't worried about, but just fantasy perspective, is how often Tua checks it down versus Malik. You know what I mean? Like, Tua is the number one guy when it comes to checking down to the running back. If Achan doesn't get those targets, shit, man, you're relying a lot on a rushing ability for a
The
team that's
thing
going to
is,
lose a
bro,
lot.
is that they had a lot of draft capital. And I just thought they just made the worst picks possible at most of their slots. Like the first round pick, I was just completely out on.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just completely out on. They drafted
Caden Proctor?
Caden
Offensive
Proctor,
line, yeah.
who I mean, he has a lot of talent, but man, that is a reach, especially when you needed some receiving help.
Drafting Chris Johnson was a good pick, though.
I like Chris Johnson a lot. I think he's going to be a good corner, but you just signed a quarterback. You need to improve the offensive line. So I thought they should have went in a more proven direction than Caden Proctor. You needed to add more playmakers to the team. I just didn't think cornerback, considering what they need to do, is a pressing need. That's why, for me, really, I'm thinking of it differently. Clearly, Miami's thinking of it as Malik Willis, bridge quarterback. You know, we're probably not going to win that much with him. We'll go get a guy after him. And to me, I just felt like it was a disservice to Malik Willis, who I thought they should have just put in a position to succeed.
I mean, he's the one that decided to go to Miami.
He is. I wish he would have went to a different place, but
Arizona
neither
was
here
cute.
nor there.
I like that.
Arizona, at
was
least
cute.
you have multiple weapons there, because Miami is just Achane.
Oh, you can put up a season for sure.
The offensive line, I think, could be, if Caden Proctor is good, I think the offensive line could be okay. I think Patrick Paul, left tackle, was solid last year. Brewer was an all-pro, and you have Caden Proctor. Like, it could be an okay unit. You have Bobby Slowick as offensive coordinator. I think that's a huge question. Last time we saw him in Houston, things didn't go great with CJ Stroud. Now, granted, things weren't great with CJ Stroud the year after Bobby Slowick left, so chicken or the egg. But either way, the Miami Dolphins, they had a lot of draft capital. They used it. I don't disagree with Joel. I didn't come away from that draft class. Usually when you have all of these draft picks, like you have 8 new starters potentially, you feel good. But on paper, at least, it did feel a little skeptical, a little, questionable. And, the Jeff Hafley hire, I'm definitely skeptical about. When he was a college head coach, never really did anything special. I think his best year was 500. We went 6-6. I wrote it down here. He went 6-5, 6-6, 3-9, 6-6 when he was the head coach. When he went to Green Bay, the defense did improve, especially when they got Micah. It was great. And then Micah got off the field, and it was one of the worst defenses in football. But I think you give him some slack, right? When you lose your best defensive player, you don't really prepare to be without your best defensive player. But it's just not a hire that I'm looking at with a ton of enthusiasm for. Like when Mike McDonald got hired, I was like, I love that. Jesse Minter, we'll see, TBD. But I just feel like schematically what he was able to do with the Chargers, it's always about, like, with the talent you have, what do you do, right? Like when I looked at the Chargers roster for Jesse Minter, in a year he was able to turn around without really adding anybody significant. Jeff Hafley, I feel like I haven't gotten that those same results from, where you were really like a high level unit for multiple seasons in a row. So I have questions about the head coach, I have questions about the play caller, I have questions about the roster. I don't think it's crazy to say this is the worst team in football. I mean, they're kind of building towards that, because although they gave Malik Willis the $70 million contract, they're not tied to him, right? Like, it's not like if they cut him next year, they have $80 million of dead cap like we saw with Tua, for example. So if things really go left, you're able to move off him next year. You could have your first pick, or you could start him for a year and have the first pick develop. So I like that they did that. They gave themselves some flexibility and gave yourself some sort of upside at quarterback this year.
I mean, the defensive line, in theory, should be good this year. You have Kenneth Grant, Zach Seiler, Chop Robinson.
A lot of youth.
Jordan Brooks, who was all-pro last year.
Jordan Brooks is great.
He's
their best player.
I think the front seven really has a chance to be like the star of the team. I think that not a chance. I think it will end up being the star of the team outside of HM.
I feel like last year was the same thing. We loved the line. We're like, the secondary's ass. It didn't matter.
You're not wrong.
Even in last year, Grant, I mean, he was a rookie. He didn't play that well, but I think he'll play much better this upcoming season. Chop Robinson kind of had a down year for his standard as well. You thought he was going to build off that rookie season. So you look at the teams that are the candidates for being the worst team in football. Arizona, New York. I don't know why, but... And then you have Miami.
Which New York?
The Jets.
Oh.
Of the Cardinals, Jets, and Dolphins, it is pretty clear who has by far the worst roster, and it's Miami.
Mm-hmm.
It's Miami. So I think the Dolphins are going to be the worst team in the NFL this upcoming season.
I'm with you.
Schedule?
Prediction?
Do you want to say that with some
I'll keep track.
Enthusiasm?
Okay, sounds good.
Is this you, Joel?
Sorry, bro. The way that you introed the first, like the topic of it, I'm like, all right, lit. I'm gonna get out the way, and then you kept talking. Let me
yeah, at the beginning, I thought we were doing the schedule off rip.
Oh, I had it. I was locked.
You kind of fake already.
I did, yeah.
Did your big one.
You did do your big one.
Ah, bro, my skin is bad.
But all right, let's see. Are the Miami Dolphins the worst team in football? They start their season at Las Vegas.
They're gonna lose.
0-1.
Okay, week 2 at San Francisco.
Another loss.
0-2.
Week 3 versus KC.
Easy loss.
0-3.
Week 4 at Minnesota.
Easy loss.
0-4.
Brian Flores. Oh, come on.
Week 5 versus Cincinnati. Since he
Loss.
likes to play with their food.
Yeah, this is
He
an easy
really
loss
do.
though.
0-5.
Okay, week 6 bye. 0-5. Week 7 at the Jets.
This a loss.
First winnable
at
game.
the Jets at MetLife. This a loss.
0-6. Tough game.
Week 8 versus New England.
This a loss.
0-7. Nothing gets better.
Week 9 versus Detroit.
This is a loss.
0-8.
Week 10 at the Colts.
This is a loss.
0-11. Can they win this one?
Week 11.
Maybe if Anthony Richardson is playing.
Okay.
What? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
0-9 going into week 11 at Buffalo.
This is another loss.
0-10.
Week 12 versus the Jets.
I'll give them this win.
They don't go 0-17.
No, I think they'll probably split with the Jets. I do think the Jets are very capable of sweeping them.
I was gonna say in the Jets preview, the Jets swept the Dolphins.
They do, but
stand on it.
I mean for the Dolphins schedule though, I'll be a
I
little bit
respect that.
respectful. I'll give them the win here.
1-10.
Okay, week 13 at Denver.
Just an easy loss.
1-11.
Riv, you're off by 1.
How?
It should be 0-12. Oh, wait, 1.
No,
Sorry.
yeah,
won,
They
yeah.
won.
Yeah,
My
they
bad,
won.
King. Week 14 versus Chicago.
Another loss.
1-12.
Week 15 at Green Bay. Another team that likes to play with their food.
This is another loss.
1-13. This could be a win.
Week 16 versus the Chargers.
This is another loss.
1-14.
And week 17 versus Buffalo Bills.
Another loss.
1-15.
And week 18 at New England to end their season. They go a whopping 1-16.
There's not a lot of winnable games on this schedule. They are outside of the games
Like
against
3?
the Jets. They are a heavy underdog in almost
game,
every
Raiders?
game.
both game versus the Jets, the Raiders.
The
I will
Raiders,
say
yeah. Yeah, that's-
the
yeah.
Colts. Who
Maybe.
knows?
And week 18, if the Patriots
There's
hit their
legitimately
guys.
probably only one game all year the Dolphins are favored in,
That's a fact.
or not an even line.
home
I
at
don't
the
even,
Jets.
yeah, it's no
Home
game
with
they're
the Jets,
favored.
That's really it.
I'm still not buying that. There's not favored in no game.
So is this going to be the Saints 2.0 from last year, where they just go out there and they have this exciting season?
They are a young team, man. I mean, like there's the part of me that is rooting for it.
Listen, I think Malik Willis, if you are a Dolphins fan, that's outside of potentially the #1 pick, that gives you some hope because he has shown flashes when he's been with Green Bay. It's just, we've seen Malik Willis at 2 places. We've seen him in Tennessee with nothing, and we've seen him in Green Bay with a good coach and some weapons around him. What is this Miami situation closer to? It's Tennessee. You know what I mean? Like, you're asking Malik Willis to do a lot. And shout out to HN. He's a great running back. It's the worst wide receiver room in the NFL. Maybe the worst wide receiver room I've ever seen. Malik Washington is their wide receiver 1. I think they signed Tutu Atwell, I want to say.
They did, yeah.
They drafted
He's had a couple drops in training camp already.
they drafted a couple guys, but it's a terrible room. I'm listening to some fantasy football podcasts are saying Greg Dulcich is a breakout. It's ugly there, man. You know what I mean? Like, God bless Malik Willis. I'm rooting for you.
No,
but
yeah, no,
good luck.
it's that bad to where you're saying Greg Dulcich might
He
be
could
having
be
the best year here.
Yeah, could lead the team in targets. Who knows?
Greg Dulcich,
I'm
truthers.
saying
Bronco legend.
He should have been
Not
good,
really.
man. Now we're going to segue to our excellent conversation with Quincy Enunwa. John was also joined with us, with me and Dels, talking to
Hi,
Quincy
guys.
Enunwa about the New York Jets this upcoming season, some things about his playing career, and some more Jets talks. If you are a New York Jets fanatic, make sure you stay and you watch how the Jets can potentially win 9 games this upcoming season. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, fellas. Thank you for having me on, man. It's a pleasure.
Of course, man. Happy to have you here. You know, day 1 of training camp, July, August, even maybe September. Best time to be a Jets fan, man. You know, the hype's here. The roster looks good. Before the games are being played, I'm looking at this roster. I'm like, offensive line looks good. Quarterback Gino looks good. Weapons looks good. Defense looks
Yeah.
good. Like, why can't it be us? First day of training camp. Man, really appreciate you having you on. You are definitely our first Jets player that we ever had on. And I'm really excited because obviously Jets are our favorite team. We're going to preview their AFC East, but to talk just Jets football, Joel and I have some high hopes this year. So appreciate you coming on, man.
No, man, I appreciate you guys. I know, I've watched a couple episodes. I know you guys haven't had like too many guests on,
Yeah.
so it's cool to be one of the first. I know you had a high school guy on
Yeah,
not
yeah.
too long ago. Hopefully from here on out, you guys can have people coming in and previewing with you guys. But we're gonna have some fun today.
Sure.
Yeah. I recently have been reformed as a Jets fan again. Now, Quincy, I know that you, before you came on the podcast, you told us that you did your homework and you realized that I was a Packers fan last year. I just want to know your reaction to that.
Oh man, listen, I can't blame you. It's been tough, but right. I know we all saw the Plaxico conversation,
Crazy.
where he had that whole thing. I think there was a time when being a Jets fan wasn't too bad, and I think the hope is now, we can kind of get back to that time, right? When Sanchez was here, outside of the butt fumble, right? We were going to the playoffs, all those different things. 2015, we had an opportunity to make it to the playoffs. I was a part of that team, right? So I think, right now we're in the down kind of time of being a Jets fan, but the hope is that, we're changing the tide.
And that Plaxico comment, we didn't talk about it. It pissed me off because when we signed Plaxico, we had just gone to back-to-back AFC Championship games. And that year we were, I think, a game away from the playoffs. To act like the Jets were a laughingstock in 2011, like you want to say 2025, you got it. 26, whatever. In 2011, no, we were one of the best teams in football. Revisionist history, it pissed me off, but what are you going to do?
I feel like those comments, I definitely understand them to a degree, just in terms of like how bad the organization has been. But the Jets were good in the 2000s. When I was growing up as a Jets fan, I was in middle school and I saw 2 AFC Championship games.
Yeah.
There was no reality that existed that you could have told me that 16 years later, you're not going to see another playoff game.
Yeah.
There's not a reality that existed at that time. I saw success. I had a taste of it, and I thought more was coming. And then 2015 happens. It felt like my heart just ripped out of my chest when I saw Fitzpatrick week 17 against the Bills. Against Rex Ryan, that was one of the more down moments. But I feel like this year's going to be different, Quincy. Like, I feel like this year is going to be different. How do you feel about it?
Yeah, I feel like it'll definitely be different. I think, coming off of last year, it was tough. It was definitely tough watching some of those games. You could tell Aaron Glenn had some things that he still needed to learn. And, I think that as you watched him go throughout the season, he really kind of improved some of the things that he was doing. So coming into this year, you've got some new pieces, right? I think Darren Muji has done a great job at GM, right? So the hope is that, okay, these guys come in, they gel well. You've got new offensive coordinator. You got Aaron Glenn at defensive coordinator, kind of bringing in his own defense. So, I think at the end of the day, there are a lot of great pieces on this team. And so you got to see kind of how it all meshes. And that's why I'm looking forward to coming to training camp.
Yeah. The Jets are in an interesting place because it's year 2 under this regime, but it kind of feels like year 1 because Glenn fired basically the entire staff. Like you mentioned, new OC, he's going to take over as the defensive play caller. You're going to have potentially 8 new starters on defense if you think D'Angelo Pons wins the nickel spot. David Bailey, obviously, being edge rusher. So it's a whole new team, really. Like it's basically a whole new coaching staff, basically a whole new roster, new quarterback, of course. How is that, right, for Quincy, maybe to a lesser extent, but like when you guys, you make the move for a Brandon Marshall, right? You sign an Eric Decker, you bring some of these new pieces together. What's that like those first couple weeks in camp when you're trying to get acclimated to some of the new guys on the roster?
No, that's a good question. When I think back to that time, we had Eric Decker the year before, but then Brandon Marshall was coming. I think that was when we really were like, oh yeah, this is, things are going to look different, because Brandon Marshall coming from the Bears was still one of the most dominant receivers in the NFL. I think we brought back Revis that year as well. Right. So you're talking about 2, and they were battling all training camp. Anybody that saw those practices would tell you, like, every day was a battle. They were going up against each other, sometimes almost going into blows, so it was such a crazy time, but it was so much competition, and I think that's one of the biggest things that you hope for this year is that, you bring in a guy like Demario Davis who knows what it means to be a Jet, who's done some winning in New Orleans, right? You bring in a guy on the opposite side with Geno, a guy that's done some winning, who's had some success, right? Both guys know how to be a Jet. Hopefully they can bring in that same energy that we saw in 2015 because they both were here, right? And kind of extend that season, into something special.
Do you feel like Brandon Marshall is one of the more underrated receivers ever?
Oh, yeah. Listen, it's crazy. I'm biased, right? So I can't really give you the best answer. But when I saw Brandon Marshall in person, there's only a few like top receivers I've seen in person, right? Like been able to watch them practice. One of the guys who I think is going to be who has to be a Hall of Famer, Antonio Brown. I watched him practice. I worked out with him. His work ethic is bar none. Like there's nobody I've ever seen compete like he does. But when you talk about a guy like Brandon Marshall, size, speed, right? I mean, this guy is an alien, and then he goes out there and he plays so physical. Just the way that he was able to kind of change the way DBs had to play him because he just has so many different release packages. Like you think of guys like the smaller guys in the ways that they know how to release, but Brandon Marshall did a really good job of releasing it as a physical receiver.
To this day, I'm pretty sure that Brandon Marshall, he holds the record for the most receptions in a game.
23 or something.
And you look at what he is just as a physical specimen, there's really nothing he can't do. He's 6'4", he runs fast, he's great at the catch point. Really, he didn't have more success in his career because of the quarterback play and the teams that he played for, because we all hear the stat that he's never played in a playoff game before. But Brandon Marshall, like, as a complete receiver, there really isn't anything in his game that he lacked. He had everything.
No.
Yeah,
honestly, he could go up and get the ball. You could throw the ball down the field. He would go get it. Like he was a special receiver, right? And then you pair him up with Eric Decker. Eric Decker coming off being in a Super Bowl, right? A guy that really also had his own release package. He did a really good job of getting down the field, getting open. I think the year before with Geno, he had 1,000 yards. So, I mean, two special guys, right, who made magic in that year. Then Chris Ivory at running back. So, I mean, when you look at the two teams, there is possibility, right? There's so much possibility that this team can be something special. It's just about, okay, how can they kind of make it all gel and work in this year?
Let's say outside of Garrett and Brees, who are you most excited to see on this offense? Whether offensive line, I'm really excited to see what Olu could do in year 3. One of these rookies. Who do you got your eye on?
Yeah, I mean, Membo I'm excited about, but I think as a receiver, I definitely want to see A.D. Mitchell and Omar Cooper Jr. Those two guys, I want to see how they perform. I think A.D. Mitchell kind of had a tough start. You're coming in the middle of the season. It's tough to come into a team, right? So you've got to kind of figure out how I am what's my role in this new team? And then you've got to figure out how am I going to play with all these different quarterbacks, right? So that's not easy. But you could see without the ball in his hands what he was capable of doing. His first game against Christian Gonzalez, he was getting open, getting down the field. Right now, he wasn't catching it, right? So that's kind of one of the question marks that we have this year. How are the hands? But I mean, he was tearing up the field. It was pretty nice to watch, honestly.
Looking at the 2026 Jets, this is what they did in the offseason after a 3-13 season. They added Minkah Fitzpatrick, Demario Davis, David Onyemata, some really good players. Just those three. Yeah. If they just got those three, it would have been an awesome offseason. But then you draft David Bailey. You also signed Nashawn Wright, who, I mean, after a historically bad year of not getting interceptions, the Jets said, let's sign one of the interception leaders to make sure that doesn't happen again this upcoming season. You draft D'Angelo Pons, Omar Cooper Jr., Kenyon Sadiq, but most of all, you figure out the quarterback position and you bring in Geno Smith, who with the Seattle Seahawks before his Raiders stint, 27-22 as a starter. He's a winning record, which means he's a winning quarterback. The Raiders stint, I'm not too hell-bent on it. When I look at the numbers, the Raiders' quick pressure rate allowed was 10.8%. That was the third worst in 2025. The Jets' quick pressure rate allowed was 7.1%, which was the third best. Geno Smith is going from the worst offensive line in football, if not one of, to a good offensive line, and the Jets were 9th in PFF pass blocking grade and 15th in pressure rate allowed. Just Geno Smith walking into that situation where he'll have time, he'll have playmakers on the outside. Everybody on the team runs a 4-4. I'm having a hard time seeing how this Jets offense isn't going to get substantially better with Geno Smithian as quarterback.
Yeah, no, I think it'll definitely be an improvement off of last year. I think for Geno, it'll be important for him to obviously cut down on the interceptions. When you watch some of those picks last year, I mean, the defense gets paid as well. That's what we always say in the locker room, right? Like at the end of the day, those guys are also getting paid the big bucks. I can look back to, I think it was the Chargers, man. they threw something at him where it looked like a cover two it looked like a one high turned into a cover two. The safety was playing the middle read, so there's a lot of confusing things out there. He's got to make sure that he is not forcing the ball. And I think that's one of the toughest things with Geno is that he has a lot of confidence in his ability, so it's like it's a huge positive, but it can also be a bit of a negative, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how Frank Reich can make sure he comes in here and balances, some of Geno's great ability with also some of the things that we don't want to see this year. I think I'm excited to see what Frank Reich looks like because you're talking about a guy that hasn't been in the NFL for a few years now. So, how does he evolve what his offense looks like? Because that'll be another big question. Like you can have all these playmakers, but then if you're not evolving, right, if you're not kind of looking at what the times are saying the offense has to look like now, then that's going to be a problem. You see Ben Johnson, I mean, first year in the NFL, made Caleb Williams the Madden cover.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So the goal this year is, okay, you come in, right, you've got to make sure that you bringing in, some magic, right?
That's my biggest concern about the Jets. That is really my number one concern above all else is Frank Reich. If we would have kept Tanner Engstrand year 2, I'm not saying Tanner was the next genius going to be a head coach, but I think he did enough in his first year. Oh,
you're good.
Okay, my bad. I thought Tanner did enough in his first year in his situation, especially given quarterback. I mean, you had Brady Cook and Justin Fields out there for majority of your games. Neither of them was able to do anything consistently in the passing game, and then Tyrod only played a handful of games too. So it was a really tough situation, I think, for Tanner to be in. If he would have stuck around, I would have had more hope because I think you see some upside with Tanner. Frank Reich, it's hard for me. It's really difficult for me to see what the positive is going to be here because his last year in Carolina, he gets fired 11 games in. Bryce Young looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history. He ends up being the interim head coach at Stanford. They go 4-8. They are 122nd out of 136 schools in terms of scoring offense. And he's a 60-year-old guy. We typically, when we're seeing these up-and-coming head coaches, you do have younger guys who I feel like come with more creative ideas compared to Frank Reich, who I don't want to assume what he's going to do, but my assumption is he's a bit stuck in his ways. Quincy, because you spent some time on the 2019 Jets with a head coach that has had a lot of stories in Adam Gase. And we have seen just when a bad coach or play caller can completely take away a talented team.
Yeah.
This all leads to an Adam Gase question, believe it or not. Le'Veon Bell had a lot of interesting comments about Adam Gase. What was your interaction with him? What was your life like when you were with Adam Gase for that year in 2019?
It was definitely up and down. I think the challenges that we had were very similar maybe to what he had in Miami. I think that there was a little bit of I'm trying to be, I don't want to be too much of a diplomat, but I am being a diplomat, right? I think, that the hardest thing with us was we butt heads on some ideologies, right? And so things just didn't go the way I wanted them to. And, things didn't go the way he wanted them to either. Now, some of the stuff that, I've seen some guys say in the media, I never saw that. So I can't speak on that one. Whether I'm being a diplomat or not, I definitely never saw that. So I'm not even going to speak on that one. But, the hardest thing that I think for him was it's a lot of alphas, right? Alpha. I use that term lightly, but there's a lot of guys that carry themselves in this macho masculine manner when you get into NFL. And so as a head coach, you've got to figure out a way to balance that. And I think that not everybody is capable of doing that. Each locker room has their own personalities, has their own egos, right? And so you have to find a way to, once you get in there, to manage all that, right? And not everybody's able to do that. I think that's the hardest thing. And so I think that was the biggest challenge, is that there was a lot of different personalities, a lot of different egos, right? And so if you can't come in there and then say, listen, this is my team, this is what I want to do, right? I mean, there was even drama with Greg Williams calling his own plays, right? So you see stuff like that, it kind of went across the board.
Is there a moment where you realize that this probably isn't a good head coach? Was it the the introductory press conference?
Oh my God.
As a player watching the press conference, did you feel like, okay, I don't know if this is going to work out?
You know what? When we saw the press conference, we all laughed about it. But so this is the hardest thing about when you have, like, think about it at work, right? When you have a new boss, right? You want to be optimistic, and so you buy into whatever's going on, regardless of whatever quirks are going on. It's really not until you get into the season where things are like, something shows up that you saw earlier, and you're like, okay, yeah, like
Mm-hmm.
I should have seen that before. Now I see how it's not working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you don't really, it's rarely ever like that, because if you do see it in the beginning, you're out. Like like a coach will see that you haven't bought in, and new coaches, new GMs, they don't want anybody on their team that's not buying into whatever the system is. You know what I mean? And so most of those guys, if they see it in the beginning, they're either themselves trying to get out or they're getting kicked out.
Yeah. I think it's interesting too, because we've seen a lot of coaches, like I think a Liam Cohen last offseason or Nick Sirianni when they had their introductory press conferences, and it was so awkward. And even then, you saw by their first year, their team's buying immediately, and it didn't really have the effect that a lot of people in the media maybe try to draw it out to be. So I think that is really interesting.
Yeah, that's a big point. Like Liam Cohen had the whole Duval, and everybody's like, "Oh, man, this is a mess," right? But then he's making Trevor Lawrence look, way better than he's looked in the past, right? So I think, like I said, like once it comes in and you see all that stuff, like that's your coach in that moment, right? Like I'm sticking beside him. That's what you're thinking, right? And in hindsight, you're like, maybe there was something there, but no. In the beginning, I don't think too many people were saying too much.
You mentioned all those numbers about Frank Reich, but do you believe that people are allowed to learn from their mistakes?
I do, but it's, the saying, it's hard to teach an old dog new tricks.
Okay.
That's how I feel.
So I'll say this. No,
you're good.
Oh, yeah, we're talking.
So one of the things that I saw, I was looking up some things with Frank Reich, right? And I think, as you look at the NFL now, it's a heavy motion at the snap league.
Yeah.
Like, everybody talks about the defense, how, switching to cover 3 and all these different things, right? But on offense, it's really a heavy, I think the stat I looked up was like 62% pre-snap motion, and like 40% is the average of snap motion at the snap, right? And so when I look back at some of Frank Reich's offenses, there was I think 2022 was Matt Ryan was his quarterback, but then 2021 Carson Wentz was his quarterback, right? You see the difference, between the two offenses, right? With Matt Ryan, it was much less motion. With Carson Wentz, it was more motion, right? So I think that kind of speaks to when a coordinator comes in, he may have this is what I want to do. But if he's not the guy that can say, okay, I need a new quarterback and it needs to happen right now, then he kind of has to mold it to whatever the quarterback is, right? And so at the end of the day, there has to be an evolution. I think back to when Chan Gailey was our offensive coordinator, and 2015 he came in. We had Marty Morningweg in 14. 15, Chan Gailey came in, and that's why we brought in Fitzpatrick, because they had a lot of magic with the Bills. So the offense initially was going to be Geno running it with Fitzpatrick. Then obviously Geno had the whole situation. Fitzpatrick comes in. We're running Fitzpatrick's offense. It's now Fitz's offense. He knows, like I'm talking about with the back of his hand. It made it so much easier for me because this was Fitz's offense. But that's on the quarterback side. Now, as the playmakers, prior to me kind of emerging, we were going to use a tight end. And then once I started to kind of make some plays, they started to use me as more of like a hybrid receiver, tight end guy. And so then you see the offense continuing to mold into something else. So I think, when you look at what the Jets have in playmakers and quarterback, I think he has no choice but to evolve, right? It's just about how much is he willing to do it, right? And is it going to be successful? When you got a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, right? Mason Taylor, you got 2 great tight ends right there. You've got a few great receivers, right? We're talking about Garrett Wilson, A.D. Mitchell I spoke about. I mean, you could even throw Isaiah Williams in there sometimes just to kind of do some gadget stuff. He's going to make the team just based off of special teams. So, I think you don't have any choice but to kind of mold it into what you're seeing today and bring it in some pieces of what you know.
Yeah, I mean, the Jets are going to be forced to have some of these 2 tight end sets, right? It's still a predominantly 11 personnel league, right? But we've seen these teams, the Rams and the Seahawks specifically this past year play more 12 and 13 that we've seen previously. And, obviously Steelers up there too. We've seen, some of the smartest, we always see it's copycat league, right? Sean McVay does it. All right, everyone wants to do it. But when you draft Kenyon Sadiq, what was it, pick 16 or whatever, that was a surprising pick to me. I did not think Sadiq was going to be on the radar. The fact they had Mason Taylor last year, and of course they had a bunch of holes to fill going into the NFL draft. But you're going to be forced to. I mean, Sadiq is someone who can play like big slot. I think that's going to be the majority of his snaps. But you're going to have some times where he's playing inline, where he's playing with Mason Taylor. I think Mason Taylor's underrated as a blocker. You know, I think he's progressing. He's still super young. He was I think the youngest player in last year or 2 years ago, his draft class. So he's still growing just as like a person, as a man. Like he's just going to get bigger just because he's, growing up. But the fact that you're able to have both of them on the field and you still have guys on the outside that you trust, like that's why I talk myself into it roster wise. Like I talk myself into it when we're talking about the personnel. But my biggest thing, even when we draft Sadiq, I was like, if Sadiq went to Sean McVay, Kyle Shanahan, I'd be like, holy shit, he's going to go crazy. But I still, in the back of my head, just feel like, are we going to be able to get the most out of him? Are we going to be able to utilize him to the best of his ability? You know, we've had some misses on this team. You know what I mean? I don't think it's always the coach's fault. I think sometimes it could be the player's fault, whatever it might be. But when you draft someone that has a unique skill set in Sadiq, you are putting a lot on the coaching staff's plate to figure it out for him.
Yeah, and I think that's the hardest thing about the NFL is that it's so, I mean, to be honest with you, in professional sports in general, is that it's so role driven, right? Yeah. And so if they can't find a good enough role to kind of really show what his skill set is, then we're going to kind of have that problem, right? So, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, they have to figure out, sometimes you have a wealth of riches and then you don't know how to fit everybody into the role that you want. So it's going to be interesting to see. I'm excited for training camp, honestly, because I just want to see how they make it happen.
Me too. Like I think that there's similarities between, this is going to sound crazy. So I just want to let everybody know this is going to sound crazy. First of all, there's 3 reasons why I came back to the Jets. Number one, I love the Jets. There hasn't been a Madden that's come out where I haven't won them a Super Bowl. In my mind, we've won the last 16 championships. In my mind, I have a Madden franchise where Cade Klubnik has been a multiple-time MVP, and where I just traded him for Patrick Mahomes, and now Mahomes is added on to his legacy with the Jets. So the Jets, I love the Jets. Number 2, I feel really good about this roster, the future, $100 million in cap space next offseason, 3 first-round picks, and also Gary Vee convinced me to come back. So I have to be thankful for him. I see similarities between the Chiefs and Bills and where the Jets are right now.
Bro.
Like let me finish. Okay. Let me finish. Okay. The Kansas City Chiefs, were they a good franchise before? Were they a great franchise before Patrick Mahomes?
Great
franchise.
They were good.
Well, they were with Andy Reid.
Yeah.
Okay, but were they an elite franchise?
No.
Okay, were they a great franchise before Alex Smith, or were they one of the worst teams in the NFL?
First overall pick.
They were not that great. We had Trent Green as our quarterback.
Oh, you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan.
Oh, I grew up hard.
Okay. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay.
All right.
Heavy Chiefs fan.
So the Chiefs, they got good with Alex Smith, a stable veteran quarterback. What is Geno Smith? A stable veteran quarterback.
Where are we going?
They make the playoffs, and then Mahomes gets there, and they go to the moon. The Buffalo Bills, were they great before Josh Allen got there?
Great, no, but somewhat competent.
They had as long of a playoff drought as the New York Jets.
They went 15 years.
And then they won a playoff. They went to the playoffs with Tyrod Taylor, who's what? A stable veteran quarterback. Now the Jets have a stable veteran quarterback. So Geno is the beginning, and I think that the story couldn't have been written any better. I'm actually surprised that people haven't seen it because the script is in front of their face. Geno Smith leaves the Jets. Now he comes back a decade later to finish what he was supposed to be a part of, which is leading the New York Jets to the playoffs. If that happens, you can't tell me there's not a clear similarity in comparison with the Chiefs and Bills. We're just missing our Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen. But once we get
Mahomes and Josh.
Once we get that, I think that we're gonna be one of the best organizations in football. They have all the pieces. It's just been the quarterback. So, John, as an outside viewer, because I know Dells and Quincy, you know, we're Jets loyalists. Me as of a month ago, Jets loyalist. You, John, as an outsider looking in, Do you think that's crazy, or do you see similarities too?
Be honest, John.
It's crazy
Thank you.
because you have
Okay.
Andy Reid and Sean McDermott, and you're comparing that to an unproven coach in New York. I love this roster for the Jets, and I do believe in the young talent. I thought they had an amazing draft. You touched on their additions defensively, and they have this good crop of veterans coming in who I believe can give them a very strong foundation defensively, and you hope that the unit this year can just take it to a whole different level. But it really comes back to the coaching. Like, I think of Frank Reich, and like you guys talked about very well, I'm concerned because the last 2 times he was a head coach, now an offensive coordinator, we saw his offensive lines completely fall apart, both in Indianapolis and Carolina. And the foundation of this Jet team, it's going to be the offensive line, being able to build a run game, then having that extension with play action with their 12 personnel set. So I feel like for the entire front office coming in this last year, I think in many different situations, you probably would have let go of your head coach in Aaron Glenn. But because of the fact you have first-time GM, you're giving him that extra grace, given the roster wasn't fully set last year. But I feel like the roster right now is in a position to take a step forward this year. And then maybe a year from now, when you find that head coach, maybe it ends up being Aaron Glenn. I could be wrong. Then you can kind of start to talk yourself more into that picture.
Well, Quincy, I already have, I think 9 wins is what the Jets are going to finish at. And this is how I got 9 wins. So
I'm looking at the roster of the schedule.
Yeah. I'm not going to go through game to game because, the Jets will find a way to win 9. But this is just my math behind it. Okay. I was looking at the history of second overall pick edge rushers since 2010. Von Miller, outside linebacker, but really an edge rusher. The Broncos go from 4-12 to 8-8. They win a playoff game. With Tim Tebow, I understand Tebow magic.
And also Von Miller's
Tebow
the first
time.
Hall of Famer.
I get that. But, the quarterback between Tim Tebow and Geno, come on, Geno's better.
Fair.
Nick Bosa, the 49ers were 4-12 the year before. Then they went 13-3. They made the Super Bowl. Chase Young, the Commanders were 3-13. Then they went to 7-9-1. They made the playoffs. And then Aiden Hutchinson, the year before, the Lions were 3-13-1. And then they were 9-8 in his rookie season. That means on average in those 4 years, second overall pick edge rushers, there's been a 5.7 win improvement, which means the Jets record in 2025, 3-14, you add plus 5.7 to that, that's 8.7. So you round it to 9 wins in 2026.
Okay, I see the math. And with Aiden Hutchinson, Aaron Glenn was there.
He was, yeah.
So
Yep.
there's a piece there. There's
It's
a
a
piece
decent
there.
track record of
Listen,
number
I
2
think-
overall pick edge rushers too.
The Jets have they have a pretty challenging schedule. I think they could pull something out, but they definitely do have a tough schedule. You talk about those 3 games, those NFC North games, right? Like they threw them back to back to back.
But we get to play
those are
Micah
all
or
three.
the Packers without Micah. That's gonna be big.
Yeah. Those so they got a little bit of a lull right in the middle, but then you look at the end of the season, right? Then you go back, it's Patriots, Vikings, and Bills. So there's some challenges in there. There's also another stretch. We don't know how Patrick Mahomes is going to look. You could take one out of there, but I think it'll just be. And this is me talking as a former player, going back to that player mindset of just week by week, right? Like, how does that first week look? Because that's going to be a pretty emotional game.
Yeah, it's
You
a
got
big game.
Robert Saleh. You're going into his house. He's going to be looking for blood.
Yeah, and you saw the comments that came out that Robert Saleh said, "We want to beat their ass," which obviously he's going to say.
Oh, I
but-
didn't see that.
It came from Fireman Ed.
Oh, is
It
that's
did.
not where it came from?
Yeah,
I just saw it.
Fireman Ed said that his source said that that's what Robert Saleh said.
I mean, even if
Yes.
it's not Fireman Ed, of course he's not gonna be like, "Oh, let's win by a field goal." He's gonna go say, "Let's go beat our ass."
Yeah.
No, I mean it's the schedule in the middle. Quincy mentioned it is like I think it's week 7 to 15. They have the second easiest schedule. So we saw this last year too, though, right? They started off 0-6, 0-7. They found some wins kind of in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
It's I don't know. It's interesting. I want to trust Aaron Glenn. Like I want Aaron Glenn to work. I love obviously the Jet ties. I love his personality. I think he works in New York. I think his personality works in New York. What do you take away from the complete roster overhaul though? Because it felt like last year maybe they came in and they looked at the roster and said, we're just better coaches than Saleh and Hackett and co.
Yeah.
Like we have a lot of these guys and they didn't make nearly as many moves as they did this offseason. So do you think like the players just weren't good enough? Do you think this was a combination of coach and players? Because we didn't have high expectations for the Jets last year, but I don't think any of us thought this would be, a laughing stock team. We thought it'd be at least competitive.
Yeah, no, you make a great point. I think last year, everything I talked about whenever I was talking about the team was like, man, they really trust their coaches because, this isn't me knocking any of the players, but they were unproven is what the best way I can put it, right? Like a lot of those guys did not have the film to say like, oh yeah, this guy is going to come out day one and really ball out, right? So this year you see that they're like, okay, we got to put a little bit more talent on the roster, right? More proven guys on the roster, and then also as the head coach, right? The reason why you brought me here is because of my ability as a defensive coordinator. So I'm taking that role. And as much as I do like what I saw from Tanner Engstrand, he was the leader of the offense, right? So just the same way as we look at Banjo on special teams, right? Go out there and ball out, right? Guys are switching in and out. Special teams is one of the hardest coaching positions to have. You have so many guys coming in and out, and you still week after week the top unit on the team, right? So that's the standard. That's what you're looking at. If you're not holding up to that standard, then at the end of the day, right? You're going to end up getting knocked for it. And so unfortunately, Tanner Engstrand did have to go, but like we can say even outside of quarterback play, there were some things that didn't go well on the offensive side, whether it be some guys being put in position that they shouldn't have been in, or even just penalties, right? So I think it makes some sense, right? If you're looking into this year, it's like, man, I got to make sure that the guys that are in there, I know they know how to lead an offense, right? So we may not know what we're going to see from Frank Reich schematically wise, but we know that he knows what it looks like to be a coordinator and a head coach. And you need a leader on that side if you're going to be leading on the defensive side.
I look at the Jets' weapons, and that's why I'm more optimistic about the offense, because last year, and I think this does happen where sometimes teams just check out. To begin the season, the Jets lost a lot of close games. Like they were in a lot of games, it was competitive, and then once they just had a terrible record, then the wheels fell off. Then you could see that nobody was really caring, and the talent also on the field, they needed to play with that much heart to match up with other teams. But now this year, I feel like the Jets have a talented roster on both sides. You now have A.D. Mitchell, who has a full offseason, Omar Cooper Jr., who had one of the best hands in college football, and then you add in Kenyon Sadiq. You add in two dynamic playmakers to the group, and then you add in a quarterback with a dynamic arm in Geno Smith. So, it does, because I love Geno. But Geno Smith, I feel like the marriage between him and Frank Reich, two old dudes relative to their position. You talking about as an offensive coordinator, Geno Smith as a quarterback, and they're trying to prove something. And I think Geno Smith really wants to make it a point of emphasis to lead this team to the playoffs, because he knows how special it would be. But then at defense, I love the additions they made. David Bailey was an obvious one. You add him to an edge rushing room of Will McDonough, who had 8 sacks last year. David Onyemata was 17th in pass rush win rate, and then he was 9th in run stop win rate. You add him to the middle of the defense. You still have Harrison Phillips. And I feel like this defense as a whole, they'll be able to rush the passer better, which last year was a weakness. They were 25th in pass rush win rate. You have some dogs in the secondary with Minka and D'Angelo Pons. I think as a whole, like this team feels like it's going to be balanced. Like I'm expecting a big leap from both the offense and the defense in 2026. And that's why I could talk myself into 9 wins, best case scenario. Like that's how I'm seeing it right now. I think the Jets are going to be really good this upcoming season.
Yeah, I mean, I think Glenn is going to be an upgrade over Steve Wilkes. I understand what Glenn was trying to do year one. Let me get someone who's experienced, who's done this in the past. It was a disaster, worst defense football. We talked about the turnovers. I can't wait to be it next year so we never talk about this turnover season again. Quincy, I got a question for you though, because I think, Aaron Glenn was hired first and then Muji was here, right? And if you followed and we followed this close because we're Jets fans, Muji was never like the favorite to be the GM. It wasn't until Aaron Glenn was hired, then Muji came on and they crossed over at some point, maybe Denver potentially. Their paths had crossed and it seemed like Aaron Glenn was like, this is Muji. This is someone who I respect and think has a good football mind. Of course, the GM gets all the credit for the personnel stuff, but they've said like they are partners in this, right? Like Aaron Glenn and Muji come together. Glenn even had a comment today about, I forgot who it was, maybe it was David Onyemata, one of the free agents. He mentioned that was someone I targeted in free agency. So it's really like this group effort that they're coming in and they're making decisions when it comes to personnel, when it comes to trades, when it comes to free agency. But Muji gets all the credit, right? And it's really difficult to be in Glenn's spot because he has to go out there and actually do it. I think, say, worst case scenario, right? The Jets have a bad season. They win only 4 or 5 games. There's a world where Muji retains his job because he's viewed as a good football mind while Aaron Glenn gets let go. And I don't know if that's the right move because if they're doing this together, it feels like you're either in this together or you're out of this together, right? You dealt with it, Todd Bowles 2018, he gets fired. Maybe he was on the hot seat, but maybe was he on this level of a hot seat going into 2018? Like, did you feel that as a player? Of course you try to block out the noise, but some of it's impossible to block out.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, first with Aaron Glenn and Darren Muji, I think, you make a good point about how usually, they'll let the head coach go and then, the GM will stay. I think it's fair to say that Aaron Glenn probably does have his hand in some things because he was a scout.
Yeah.
So he also has his own kind of background knowing what to look for, all those different things. But as far as Coach Bowles, man, to be honest with you, I really do feel like it was a little bit of a shock, and maybe again, you get so bought into what's going on, you're not really paying attention to what's around you. Like, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't paying attention to some of the noise on the outside, but I don't know if I really thought like, yeah, Coach Bowles is going to be fired. And if I remember correctly, it was like right at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Because I think I remember having to do like an interview about it, and I texted him right after. But yeah, it's tough. When you get in those positions, you think that, you see what's going on the inside, right? So you can tell like, there's this going on, there's this going on. But at the end of the day, it's kind of like what I said with Tanner Angstrand. Like, you've got to be able to control your house, right? And so even if all these different things are going wrong, everybody's looking to you as to why it's not working. So if you can't figure out a way to make it work, then that's kind of how this business goes.
Yeah, I hope it works. I like Aaron Glenn.
On the road to the playoffs, let's see, Quincy Enunwa, I want you to try to predict the Jets' record. All right. Week 1 at the Titans.
You know what? We're going game by game?
Yes.
Okay. I want the Jets to win this game just off the strength of obviously playing against Robert Saleh, and it would be a great start to the season, especially because those next 3 games is going to be a little bit of a toss-up. I think when you look at last year, and I don't want to spend too much time talking, but if you look at last year, they did play a lot of those teams really close, even though they weren't supposed to. I even think back to that Buccaneers game.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give them a win in that first game.
Week 2 versus the Packers home opener.
No Micah.
Yeah, the whiteout, no Micah. And we saw how it looked at the end of the year without Micah, right? They were a little bit of a different team. So I think if they can get that first win, the hype of that might give them a second win.
2-0.
I got slandered on the internet for saying we'll beat the Packers week 2.
Your old team.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It makes sense. I understand it. Everybody loves Jordan Love. The Packers are a good team.
I am everybody. I love Jordan Love. Quincy, today I actually secured tickets for that home opener, and I have on-field access before the game.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be there, so I'll see.
Nice. So hopefully we'll get to chat. Week 3 at the Lions.
Tough game.
That's a tough one.
Tough game.
That's a tough one. There's a good chance it'll be a close one, but I think we might, because I'm not going to go 16-17, I'll give them a loss there.
2-1.
Week 4 at the Bears, the Madden cover, Caleb Williams.
Yeah, again, I don't want to go 16-17.
2-2.
So I'll give them a loss.
I'd feel good though. 2-2. You steal one from the Packers. If you lose to the Lions and Bears back to back, it's still okay.
Week 5 versus the Browns.
I got to take that one, and it's home. I got to take that one.
Week 6 at the Patriots.
It's always tough. Patriots at home. They got AJ Brown. That Drake May. They're going to be on a little bit of a roll just off the strength of they had that Super Bowl. Now maybe they have a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover. But, by week 6, it's usually kind of off. So because it's an away game, I'll give the L there.
3-3.
Week 7 versus the Dolphins.
Okay, we're taking that one.
4-3.
Week 8 versus the Raiders.
I'm taking that one.
5-3.
Week 9 at the Chiefs.
Patrick Mahomes, I just saw him throwing around at practice.
Looked all right.
And it's at Kansas City.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
tough. That's tough.
So I'm giving the L there.
5-4.
Week 10 versus the Bills.
We
The
play
Bills give the
tough.
Jets some problems. Man.
Yeah.
The Bills give the Jets, so I'll give the L there.
5-5.
Week 11 at the Chargers.
Justin Herbert. That's gonna be a battle. Let me see where I'm at right now. Where are we at?
We're
What's
5
our-
and
what's our
5
record?
right now.
5-5.
Oh, this is a
This
must
is
win.
an important game. You win this,
I
you're
know.
talking yourself into a
I know,
wild card.
AFC.
Yeah,
I don't want
tiebreakers
to put
too.
too much time thinking, but I also don't want to come out of here with the Jets having 11 wins. And you know what I mean? I got to be realistic. Now, that's not to say that this team can't be great, right? But I also am like,
According to history, 5.7 wins is what you should expect them to improve on. So anything above 9 is probably stretching it.
right. So here's this. I'll give you my wins instead of going down the right. We're at the Chargers right now.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the schedule.
Okay.
I'm gonna take Cardinals.
Okay.
All right. The Broncos, we don't know what Bo Nix will get.
Yeah. We
don't
played
know
them
what Bo
tough.
Nix will get.
Last
It's at
couple
home.
years we played them. Yeah.
Last year they didn't score one touchdown.
No.
And this, I think, is a better defense from the Jets than last year's.
Mhm.
I don't know did anybody know? How do you upgrade at playmaker?
They got
They got
Jalen Waddle.
That was the big move.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything
I'm still
else the
taking
same.
it.
Okay, got the
Still
Jets
taking
winning that one. So that's 7 wins
I'm
right
still
there.
taking it. And then Miami. So
8.
that's it.
Okay, 8 wins.
I give them 8 right now. And that's just so that we have room for improvement.
Okay.
Yeah. And I don't think we're getting swept by the Patriots and Bills. I
No?
don't see it. Nah. We're taking
If
one.
we can win 1 out of those 4 games, I'm happy. I'm not gonna lie.
I think we're taking one for sure. I think
For
we
both,
got.
though, you're saying?
Nah.
Oh, okay.
We'll,
Yeah. No,
We'll
I'm
go
with you.
1-3.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
we'll
yeah.
win one.
Who do we have a better chance to beat?
I think it's the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah, and I would much rather beat them too.
Yeah. I'd much rather beat the Patriots as well.
Yeah.
The hardest thing is that man, I don't know. We got a different quarterback, so we'll see how it goes.
We do. We got a brand new quarterback who
Yeah.
27-22 as a starter, is a winner in Seattle. All right. Thank you so much for being on, Quincy. We appreciate your time. And
Yeah.
I just want to let you know, I had this thought in my head all day, but like you were Deebo Samuel before Deebo Samuel. Like you were the receiver lined up all over the field, being used as like a pseudo tight end, kind of like what we see from Puka Nacua now. Like you were that for the Jets back then. I wish you could have been with some more creative offensive minds to maximize your skill set, but I don't feel like you get enough credit for how amazing of a player you were.
Sure.
I appreciate that, man. Listen, sometimes injuries can derail, a lot of things. And I always say, man, I think sometimes I'm a little overhyped in terms of because of the injury, but at the end of the day, man, I am proud of what I put out there, and I think that, every time I watch my film, I'm like, dang, like, it's crazy to see it's crazy to imagine what I could have done without injury. So I appreciate you seeing that in there, and listen, man, we're hoping that the Jets can kind of create something special this year.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Thank you for being on.
Appreciate it,
Thanks,
Quincy. Thank
Quincy.
you, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys. Have a good night.
You
You
too.
Peace.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 598. If you want early access to $5.99 or Conversation with Anthony Simons, join the Patreon or become a YouTube member. It will be out on both. It will be publicly available on YouTube, Spotify, and wherever you can listen to your podcasts on Monday. Thank you for watching. You can follow us on Twitter, Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok and Facebook on Pick a Side Podcast, and we'll see you guys next time.